Hello, good morning, and thank you for choosing us. This is Breakfast Daily here on Channel One TV. I am Nanatufu Boateng. It's always a pleasure to come your way to serve you nothing but the best breakfast you can find on television right here from number 5 Ula Hansen Lane at Tesano in Accra. Grateful that you could join us. Now, today there's a lot happening, okay? There's a lot to chew on. We're going to do our best to sift through all these and bring you some of the topical ones to help shape your discourse in the day. From the swearing in of new Supreme Court judges, coming into effect of the 24-hour economy policy, a host of issues that we're going to be looking at today. Now, talk about the 24-hour economy. The launch of same by the president. The policy is designed or is intended to boost productivity and help create jobs. We're actually being told that some 1.7 million jobs will be created through the implementation of the 24-hour economy. This morning, the message is quite simple. For you, the ordinary Ghanaian out there, what does this mean to you? How does this reflect in your life or in your pocket, all right? Now, here's the thing. If you're going to wait to see how it's going to reflect, then you're going to miss out on it. So here's what we're going to do. Whenever there's a change in administration or a change in government, the new government comes out with its own policies, initiatives, innovations, what have you, all right? All in good faith. Some overly ambitious, yes, we agree, but all in good faith for the development of the country. For you, the individual Ghanaian, the individual citizen, what it is that you need to do a proper introspection. And then, of course, you need to do a study of these policies by the government, especially when they are new, so that you would know or you can find out which policy or where you can take advantage of or position yourself to benefit of that particular policy. So take the NDC government in this particular administration. They've rolled out a number of initiatives. The Batampa is there. They are bringing the Women's Development Bank. The 24-hour economy is out there. A number of policies are being rolled out. How are you, the ordinary Ghanaian, positioning yourself to take advantage of some of these initiatives to improve your lot? Okay? So it could either be to establish a business to take advantage of these policies or take advantage of these policies to grow, nurture, and expand your business. So think about it, identify one or it could be more, multiples, okay, of these policy interventions by the government, and then find your footing within there where you can apply your knowledge or your skills to take advantage of these policies to better your lot, to establish a business, to grow a business, or to expand a business. Shalom. Well, let's say thank you to everyone that was part of the City Business Festival. You guys were amazing. I want to say thank you to all our sponsors, all our partners, our viewers, and our listeners for making the City Business Festival a huge success. You guys really stayed with us throughout the entire month of June as we brought you on-air series as well as outdoor events to celebrate or to herald the celebration of the City Business Festival on 97.3 City FM and here on Channel One Television. We are absolutely grateful to you. We say thank you to our sponsors, Absa Bank, MTN Business, and Zonda Tech Ghana Limited. The City Business Festival, of course, was powered by Channel One TV with support from 97.3 City FM. And we brought industry experts to speak to specific topics that will help you grow your business throughout the entire month. And so from the 1st to the 30th of June, we were bringing you topics and, of course, speeches or if you want, the lectures in the tech space, the agric space, the SME sector, and some law as well to help you grow your business. The fintechs are already presenting themselves as the way or the new, the revolution now for business growth. And we brought industry experts to speak to some of these things. So thank you for watching us here on Channel One TV. Thank you for listening to us on 97.3 City FM during the City Business Festival. But above all, thank you to our sponsors, MTN, APSA, and Zonda Tech Ghana Limited. All right. Now, on Sundays at 6:30 p.m., something new, something refreshing, something exciting, something informative, very educative as well is coming. Every 6:30 p.m. on Channel One TV, we're bringing you the Volunteers TV show. All right. So just basically to rekindle the spirit of volunteerism, to help you identify and to understand why you need to volunteer, and then, of course, to help you know which areas you can volunteer in, which sectors you can volunteer in, what your own contribution can be to the growth of our societies, our communities. And so be part of the Volunteers TV show every Sunday at 6:30 p.m. right here on Channel One TV with your host, Stephen Kweku Dako. And the Volunteers TV show is brought to you by the Global Volunteers Corps. So make a date, 6:30 p.m. Every Sunday here on Channel One TV for the Volunteers TV show. That said, let's get into the newspapers. Let's find out what the papers are saying. And just so you know, there's a show on TV here on Channel One TV, also known as What the Papers Are Saying. It airs on Thursdays at 9 p.m. So do make a date tonight at 9 p.m. with Vivian Kai Loko and her guest as they delve into the various reports or stories that made it to the front pages of the various dailies throughout the entire week. They'll be bringing different perspectives to some of these stories. So you just want to make a date every Thursday at 9 p.m. with Vivian Kai Loko and her guest. All right, I'll start off today with the Daily Guide newspaper. The front page is heavy on the government's initiative, as I espoused earlier. 24-hour economy will cost $4 billion US. And this is attributed to John Dramani Mahama, His Excellency, the President of the Republic. 24-hour economy will cost $4 billion US. Indian Prime Minister arrives for strategic partnership meetings. Indian Prime Minister arrives for strategic partnership meetings. Ablekuma North, EC to rerun polls in 19 stations. Ablekuma North, EC to rerun polls in 19 stations. Now, there's some update to this. While the NDC has welcomed this particular decision by the EC, following a meeting, of course, with all the parties, the MPP says it did not entirely agree with it. In fact, its parliamentary candidate for the 2024 general elections has rejected or strongly registered her disapproval of this decision by the Electoral Commission to rerun elections in 19 polling stations within Ablekuma North to bring finality to, well, if you want, the impasse currently ongoing. Mind you, we're in the 7th month of the year, and Ablekuma North is still without representation in Parliament due to the inability to finalize collation in that particular constituency. So we are waiting to see how all this plays out. We'll be keeping an eye on it and updating you, our viewers, as we go along. Now, the Gold Board has been busy following the coming into effect of its act that says that all buyers should be licensed with the Ghana Gold Board before you can trade in gold in this country. Well, the report here says that Gold Board NS, that's National Security, arrests 10 Chinese for illegal gold trading. Gold Board and National Security arrest 10 Chinese for illegal gold trading. Dismiss Tokonu's judicial review. That's the AG. The Attorney General, we know, has filed processes in court to have the review process filed by the suspended CJ dismissed. So Daily Guide is reporting on that this morning. Let me give you the Chronicle. The Chronicle newspaper this morning says, Osahene roasts government over $360 million World Bank cash. Osahene roasts government over $360 million World Bank cash. Mahama, 24-hour economy path will be challenging, but, there's a but there. 24-hour economy path will be challenging, but. Then the scripture for the day is from the book of Proverbs, chapter 27, the verse 5, which says, better is open rebuke than hidden love. Better is open rebuke than hidden love. Proverbs 27:5. May the Lord add his blessings to the reading of his word. On the back page, we have sports. Leverkusen, Bayern Leverkusen signs Quansah from Liverpool for £35 million. So Jarrell Quansah has been signed by Bayer Leverkusen. Bayer Leverkusen is a giant in the German Bundesliga. They have signed Jarrell Quansah from Liverpool for £35 million. João Pedro joins Chelsea in time for Club World Cup last 8. João Pedro joins Chelsea in time for Club World Cup last 8. Liverpool reject Bayern Munich approach for Diaz. We know that Bayern Munich, the German champions, have been eyeing the Liverpool forward, Luis Diaz, for a while now. We understand that Liverpool have rejected the approach by Bayern Munich. And then you have Rangers sign huge asset Rothwell from Bournemouth. Rangers sign huge asset Rothwell from Bournemouth. All right, so that's some sports for you on the back page of the Chronicle newspaper. The New Republic says Mahama walks the talk. 24-hour economy set to revolutionize Ghana. Mahama walks the talk. 24-hour economy set to revolutionize Ghana. I want him to fail. Ex-Subin MP goes unpatriotic, wishes President Mahama bumps despite huge public support. Eugene Entry was speaking with Umaru Sanda Amadu on the face-to-face program here on Channel 1 TV, and this is one of the things he said. AG moves to stop Araba's delay tactic. Group calls in Asante-Hene's intervention. AG moves to stop Araba's delay tactic. Group calls in Asante-Hene's intervention. EC eats humble pie. Sets July 11 to rerun 19 polling stations in Ablekuma North. And then you have Abronya weeps for public purse looters. Drags Iyoko NIB AG to court over harsh bail conditions. Abronya weeps for public purse looters. Drags Iyoko NIB AG to court over harsh bail conditions. That's the New Republic newspaper. The Daybreak is next. What is the Daybreak saying? Daybreak says government cancels Fidelity Bank contracts. Government cancels Fidelity Bank contracts. Mahama nominates 4 deputy ministers. Mahama nominates 4 deputy ministers. Baba Sam wants Nane J cited for contempt. Baba Sam wants Nane J cited for contempt. Kasua Winneba, other key road projects stalled over unpaid contractor arrears. That's the minority leader in parliament speaking, Alexander Penyo Markin. And then you have Gold Board bust 10 Chinese illegal gold traders. Gold Board bust 10 Chinese illegal gold traders. So that's the front page of the Daybreak newspaper. Now let me take you online, channel1news.com. Let's start from there. Channel1news.com says a 24-hour economy built to power private sector growth. And this is attributed to the presidential advisor on the 24-hour economy, Guzi Tano. He sat with Bernard Avler on the Point of View last night, and he says the 24-hour economy is built to power private sector growth. Street beggars back weeks after GIS crackdown in Accra. We sat here and we said this. We spoke about this. I remember, together with Elvis Dako and somebody else, that, you see, there should be a holistic approach to dealing with this particular matter. But if we always want to do a reactionary knee-jerk approach, then we are not solving anything. Today, channel1news.com is reporting that the street beggars are back only a few weeks after the GIS crackdown in Accra. So what have we actually achieved? This country, Ghana and Ankasana, okay. We can only pray and hope for the best. 24-hour economy is both a program and a journey. again attributed to Guzi Tano. 24-hour economy is both a program and a journey. Guzi Tano speaking on the point of view last night with Bernard Avle. We won't accept EC's U-turn on Ablekuma North. NPP's Akua Friye speaking there. She was the parliamentary candidate for the NPP in the 2024 general elections for the Ablekuma North constituency. And following that decision by the EC to rerun 19 polling stations in the constituency, she says we won't accept EC's U-turn on Ablekuma North. She spoke with Frema Edunyame last night on the Channel One newsroom. Now, Ablekuma North rerun should drive electoral reform. NDC's Mahdi Jibril is speaking there. Ablekuma North rerun should drive electoral reform. NDC's Mahdi Jibril. He also spoke on the Channel One newsroom last night with Frema Edunyame. We trust Erabna Obeng to win Ablekuma North rerun. This is attributed to the NDC, and a Deputy General Secretary of the party, Mustafa Gbande, said same. EC contradicting its own records in Ablekuma North election. That's Haruna Mohammed, a Deputy General Secretary of the NPP. Top-down approach risks deepening party apathy, Patrick Boama tells NPP. Top-down approach risks deepening party apathy, Patrick Boama tells NPP. NPP to address Ghanaians on Ablekuma North rerun July 3. That's Haruna Mohammed speaking there again. We understand that the party will later today hold a press conference to state clearly its position on this Ablekuma North debacle, if I can put it that way, and the decision by the EC to rerun in some 19 polling stations. The NPP will be stating their position later today at a press conference. Their names are the 19 that have been identified by the EC to rerun the elections in those polling stations. Go to channel1news.com. You have the details there, which polling stations, and of course, the codes where they are located, what their names are, all on channel1news.com. Then, of course, the main story about the decision of the EC to rerun the election is also there. It says EC to rerun Ablekuma North parliamentary election in 19 polling stations on July 11. And then you have 24-hour economy will evolve with feedback, says Guzi Tano. All right. While at it, you can go on the Google Play Store and download the Channel One News app. And you get all the details, especially the updates, okay? Go on Google Play Store, download the Channel One News app, and you stay updated throughout your day. All right, let me now take you to citynewsroom.com. Citynewsroom.com says Mahama is restoring credibility to governance. And this is attributed to Guzi Tano, the presidential advisor on the 24-hour economy. Mahama is restoring credibility to governance, Guzi Tano. 7 new Supreme Court justices to be sworn in today. 7 new Supreme Court justices to be sworn in today. Mahama confers Ghana's highest honor on Indian Prime Minister Modi. Mahama confers Ghana's highest honor on Indian Prime Minister Modi. 2024 elections. Mahama's landslide victory was clear from June. This is attributed to Guzi Tano. So 6 months prior to the election itself, they knew that John Dramani Mahama will be sworn in as president come January 7, 2025. Okay. Random drug test needed in schools. Okaikwe South MP. Random drug test needed in schools. Okaikwe South MP. He was speaking to the increasing spate of abuse, especially among students from the senior high level to the tertiary level. Ablekuma North, we won't accept rerun. Akua Friye, that's the NPP's parliamentary candidate. He says they won't accept the rerun of the elections in those 19 polling stations as announced by the EC. Interior Minister rolls out preventive measures after Laura SHS drowning incident. Interior Minister rolls out preventive measures after Laura SHS drowning incident. You're speaking on the floor of Parliament yesterday regarding this particular matter. Expand Electoral College or risk apathy? Patrick Boama urges NPP. Expand Electoral College or risk apathy? Patrick Boama urges NPP. ECG revenue hits 1.6 billion cedis in first half of 2025. And that's the Energy Minister, John Jinapor, speaking there. And then you have NPP rejects EC's decision to rerun Ablekuma North polls. NPP rejects EC's decision to rerun Ablekuma North polls. And there's a final one on the website that says UPSA students push back against midweek dress code rule. UPSA students push back against midweek dress code rule. Now, we can look at this particular matter in various angles. The fact that it is important, and we all agree that it is important to instill or ensure discipline in our institutions. But where do we draw the line? What constitutes indecent dressing? I think the school has its own code. Same should have been advertised or has been advertised to the students. Students must comply with same. But can we make some concessions, especially regarding what constitutes indecent dressing? Go on to citynewsroom.com. You get details of these stories and more. Channel1news.com as well. We have updates on the various topics dominating the media space. But stay with us here. This is Breakfast Daily on Channel 1 TV. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll bring you the news review segment.
My name is Dr. Mavis Kwasari, a food scientist and CEO of Impact Food Hub. We are a leading food innovation and agribusiness development organization dedicated to bridging the gap between research and innovation with industry. In line with our commitment to build stronger entrepreneurs and smarter agribusinesses, Impact Food Hub proudly presents the Agribusiness Launchpad and Accelerator Program. This is a transformative 4-day learning experience designed to equip aspiring and existing agripreneurs with practical tools, expert mentorship, and hands-on exposure to grow and scale their food and agribusiness ventures. Whether you're planting your first crop or scaling up for market, Launchpad 2025 will empower you to take your agribusiness to the next level. So join us from the 9th to the 12th of July 2025 at the Stanbic Bank Business Incubator, Silver Star Tower. So why join Launchpad 2025? Because your agribusiness idea deserves more than a dream. It deserves the tools, training, and support to grow into sustainable, market-ready enterprise. Let's help you turn your food idea into a competitive brand that creates impact.
Life is a celebration of moments. Big and small.
The sun is scorching, I'm feeling the heat.
With Piva Drink, every moment becomes a refreshing celebration. From the beach to your home, in every corner of your world. Piva Drink at a burst of refreshment.
Give me Piva cocktail and tangerine.
Celebrate every moment with Piva Drink. Refreshment for every occasion. Piva Drink, a taste you will love.
P for Piva.
This advert is FDA approved.
This week on the Upside Down Show, the untouchable DJ Mensa joins Frema Edinyame and Nana Tufo.
Did you have to compete for a session? What was it like back then?
It's not like today. It was, first of all, even to get the equipment is a problem.
Yeah.
I had to learn on the job because right after school, nobody was going to give me the equipment.
Yeah.
I had to buy my first equipment with a story. There was a DJ that came from the UK. At that time, it was Aphrodisiac. He was, don't touch this until I come. But I wanted to use it. He came and I was playing on set. Full house. He ejected
Are you serious?
the CDs out and threw them away.
Also featuring is Ash Benny, an energetic, vibrant musician.
With the rhythm of the music, everybody, Charlie, make we party. Party with the rhythm of the music. We go party.
Do you love magic? Join us as Manuel the Magician does his stuff. Make a date with us this Sunday at 7 p.m. prompt only on Channel 1 TV.
Hello there, grateful that you chose us. This is the Breakfast Daily here on Channel 1 Television. Time now for the news review segment. I am Nana Tufo Boateng. Now, this morning, there's a lot to chew on. We'll be moving from the political front to the economic front, and then, of course, the energy sector to bring you perspectives to the various happenings within those particular sectors. I'll start off from Ablekuma North, and then we can have a conversation surrounding what is happening there. The Electoral Commission has taken the decision to rerun the parliamentary election in 19 polling stations within the constituency. So I'll bring you a story from channel1news.com, a few paragraphs of that, and then we can begin the conversation. Stories by Abigail Arthur on channel1news.com, and it says, EC to rerun Ablekuma North parliamentary election in 19 polling stations on July 11. And it reads, the Electoral Commission, EC, will rerun the parliamentary election in 19 polling stations within the Ablekuma North constituency on Friday, July 11, 2025. The decision follows a protracted dispute between the National Democratic Congress, NDC, and the New Patriotic Party, NPP, over the validity of scanned pin sheets used during the collation of results from the December 7 general election. Now, in a press release issued on Wednesday, the EC stated that the rerun is part of efforts to resolve the impasse and ensure electoral integrity. The announcement came after a follow-up meeting held on July 1 with representatives from both political parties. The NDC had demanded a rerun in 37 polling stations, arguing that the scanned pin sheets used in the collation were submitted by the NPP and lacked proper verification. The NPP, on the other hand, maintained that results from 3 outstanding polling stations should be collated and a winner declared, citing prior approval of the scanned results by NDC agents. The EC clarified that while agents from both parties had approved the scanned results, only 18 of the 37 polling station results had been verified by the respective presiding officers. As such, the Commission will rerun the election in the remaining 19 polling stations where presiding officer verification was absent. All right, so basically that's what the story is. The decision has been taken that on July 11, Friday, a rerun in 19 polling stations in the Ablekuma constituency should bring the matter to rest, should bring some finality to the matter. Let me introduce my guest and find out what they think about this particular decision and what their positions are on same. Elvis Darko is here. He's the editor of the News Center newspaper, newscenter.com. Good morning, Elvis. Good to have you.
Good morning.
Then we have the Honorable Seth Champong, former Eastern Regional Minister, also here with us. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Nana.
Good to have you. Good to have you. All right. So Ablekuma North is in the news again. The decision by the EC to rerun polling or elections in 19 polling stations. We're being told that out of the 37 that were outstanding, only 18 had been approved, or the scan results of 18 of them had been approved by both parties. The remaining 19, they don't have presiding officers confirming the results of same. And so the EC has taken that decision, which we are being told is in consultation with the two parties. The MPP, however, says it did not entirely agree with that position, and so they are opposing that decision by the EC. Elvis, let me start from you on this particular matter.
See, consistency is very important in communication. See, these are some of the things the EC does, and people point accusing fingers at them. EC was invited to Parliament 2 weeks ago to come and explain the situation. Dr. Bosman Asari said they had done everything, left only three polling stations. So what is the EC telling us now that 19 polling stations? If you do this, then you are creating credibility crisis for yourself, because the House of Records, Parliament, invites you to come and brief us on exactly the situation.
And there you are speaking under oath.
And you are speaking under, and your briefing was that every of the polling stations had been authenticated, apart from 3. And that if you are giving a police protection, and the fact that the police are not doing it because they said they are rated the AG for some whatever advice. You said 3 polling stations. Today, you are telling us that 19 polling stations. So if you do this, why would people say that you are trying to scheme elections for somebody? The Electoral Commission has said it here. Dr. Farijan will not tolerate this nonsense. Dr. Farijan will declare, if you are not happy, go to court. He has finished his job. How can the Electoral Commission, who hired presiding officers, tell us that they have not been? Where are the presiding officers? You are the one who hired them. Why you didn't explain why they couldn't authenticate them? This thing we have been told got banned. They got there about 3 or 4 days after elections. So what is the Electoral Commission saying? See, these are the reasons why people will have issues with the Electoral Commission. Be straightforward. Do your things. You are not under the control of the political parties. You only collaborate with them. The law gives you the mandate and power to do your work. Do your work. Complete your work. If somebody says, I'm not satisfied with the work you have done, let the person go to court. Whatever direction comes from court, you will follow. This is the way things must go. It's unfortunate, but I think this morning I have no sympathy for the Electoral Commission. I have no sympathy for them at all.
None at all.
What they have done today, what they have done, justify why people attack them. It's a clear justification why people attack them. It's just unacceptable that 2-3 weeks ago you went to Parliament and told that they are left with 3 polling stations. At that time, they didn't know that the 19 were not verified by their presiding officers. You said it's left with 3. And 2 weeks' time, you issued a statement to tell us that it is 19. And you expect people not to accuse you of scheming with one party or the other to do things. It's just sad. Please, let's spend the time talking about important things. This issue is completely. If I want to go further, I may say things about EC that are not palatable. You don't, as a state institution,
calm down.
as a referee in an important event like an election that determines who run this country for 4 years, this kind of things should be avoided in your actions. Be firm on what you do. If you say it's 3, you can't go and tell Parliament that it's 3, and then 2-3 weeks and come and show it's 19. It's completely wrong, and I support the MPP for opposing the so-called rerun because the EC itself had told the whole world that it's left with 3. So on what basis are you going to say you are going to rerun in 19? If you say you are going to rerun in 3, we say okay, that 3 you mentioned the 3 in Parliament, but I have increased the number to 19. I think the MPP has every right to oppose this decision. The EC must just collect the remaining 3. Wherever they are so-called presiding officers they are talking about, they should bring them to come and verify. You didn't know that your president didn't verify the thing. He went to parliament and told the whole country that it's left with 3. What are we talking about here?
Very well, very well. Honorable, let me come to you on Ablekuma North. And what appears to be a push shifting.
I couldn't agree further with Elvis. It's become... I woke up to the news and I was asking myself questions because not too long ago we saw the deputy commissioner in the People's Representative Chamber and he gave a clear statement that they are not going to rerun Ablekuma North. Not just that, the EC herself had secured a court order to do the coalition because the properties had been assaulted. They had been burnt down during the exercise when the elections were being held. So all these while I've been waiting because their only complaint was that they had not been given adequate protection. And it was for the police service to provide them with that so-called security so that they could exercise their legitimate function. So I've been on the sidelines waiting and watching to see when they will be offered that security. This rail run has been the mantra of our competitors, friends and brothers in government today, the new National Democratic Congress. They've always been asking for a rerun. And we said there's no point because we were just going to be declared winners of these elections. And then some talks came and vandalized the place. And we were fortunate to have gotten our polling station agents, kept our papers so we could go through a proper coalition. This is not new to me. We've come through the cycle before. It happened in the Eastern region, in Akwetia, where we had to do a rerun. And so we went for a rerun. But in this particular situation, I thought we had matured and had gained enough experience in going and managing some of these things. Now that EC is double talking, I'll have to say double talking because not too long ago, less than a month, you appeared in the People's Reps and before the People's Reps, and you told us that we are not going to do a rerun. You're only waiting for security to declare to us. And then some few days you go for an IPAC meeting, which from my briefing, there was not true understanding in terms of parties agreeing to a rerun. But then it gets to a point where you can realize that some manipulation is going to go through a legitimate process, a legitimate procedure, because that is the legitimate thing to do. Not too long ago, the chairman of the National Democratic Congress threatened the EC that they are not fit for purpose. You understand?
Yeah.
So I don't know whether they lost their spine because of that statement. That is why they are making a U-turn. Yes, I'm at a loss. I'm at a loss. And hey, if NDC decides to walk you out of your office, they are determined they will walk you out of your office no matter what you do. And so stand your ground and do the responsible thing. Like Elvis said, Dr. Afarijan will not entertain these things. Once he scored the election, he scored the election. However, in this circumstance, Akwetia was under Dr. Afarijan. But this is a different leadership. And my fear is that reruns are keen to buy elections and they're very expensive. Expensive not necessarily in expenditure that you are going to put there, but it is one election like a presidential election where all interested parties are going to go on the ground. And what is going to happen in Ablekuma North, I just can't wait to see. For me, historically, since MPP annexed that seat, it's been a stronghold of MPP, irrespective of who represents there. Okay, so I've just been wondering, I'm hoping that my brothers in NDC, having executive power and legislative power today and taking democracy capture, are not going to manipulate us and take our seat from us. That is my only fear.
Very well.
I pray and hope that they will not do that to us. But if they do that to us, we are still learning in this democracy. We'll see how the future runs with us.
Very well, thank you. Let's say good morning to the National Coordinator for the District Road Improvement Program, the Honorable Nilante van der Poel, who's joined us. Good morning, sir. Good to have you.
Good morning.
You came at the right time. We're discussing Ablekuma North and the decision of the EC to rerun the election in 19 polling stations in the constituency. Now, there's concern, out of which concerns are stemming calls for a reform or reforms. One has to do with the decision to rerun and the precedent it sets that anyone at all during future elections can create whatever chaos and demand a rerun. And then there's also the other concern that if the scanned pink sheets are admitted, then people can also engage in violent acts, claim that they've lost original copies, and present pink sheets during elections, scanned pink sheets during elections. So how does the EC deal with this matter?
Well, thank you very much, and let me say good morning to our viewers and to my brothers here. Let me say we've all come to a conclusion that we must have reforms as far as the EC's job is concerned. I've particularly not been happy with the way the EC has conducted elections in this country for some time now, especially when it comes to 2020 and 2024 elections. We won 2024 elections massively, but still there were a lot of challenges that all of us agree fall on the doorstep of the EC. And the consequences of every election in any country cannot be taken for granted.
Yeah.
And it's important that as a people, we try and shaping out the most credible way we can have elections, that the outcome will be acceptable to all the stakeholders. And I said, any reform that is aimed at strengthening our institutional structure at the EC and also making the EC become more credible is welcome. And as such, the EC itself must also begin to look at the way it's done its things in the past and see whether there are any empirical evidences to show that they've not really done their work as expected. When it comes to Ablekuma North, let me first say that no constituency in this country is a preserve of any political party. Yes. Because historically, I've seen parties win a previous election with close to about 25,000 in the constituency, but I've lost it the next elections. It happened to the NDC before.
Yeah.
In 1996, Brekum, JHO Sachampon won with over 20,000. The following elections, incredible fact that they flipped it. You understand? It's happened in so many other places. At least 2024 elections, it showed. In some constituencies where the MPP previously had won with 15,000, 20,000, those constituencies were flipped. So it is not something that anyone can say this way. And let me say in Ablekuma North, the MPP were not united. They had their own problems. And I worked there, and I know what I'm talking about. The MPP was never united. We had a candidate who was very, very hardworking. From the time that young lady was elected a parliamentary candidate, she didn't sleep. She was working, whilst the MPP were fighting. So if you ask their own candidate, who was my colleague in parliament then, she will tell you that things were not good enough. She succeeded in taking out Joe Appiah. And then she was taken out by Sheila Bartels. Then she staged a comeback within the term to throw away Sheila Bartels. Sheila's supporters were not happy. They thought that she used her influence and the money she got from being a deputy ambassador somewhere, you know, and they complained. There was also this sinister propaganda in the constituency to the effect that Sheila is not through and through MPP because she was married to an NDC person. And it was quite bad. So Sheila's supporters were not happy. So the MPP were not united in that constituency. Two, we all know the dynamics in that constituency when it comes to especially issue of commercial trading, or DOCO, Kwashima, Dakuma,
Yeah.
all those places. And the effect of the economy on these people had made a turn out things. For the first time, we were at Dakuma Junction, the spare parts area, the magazine area. And I was surprised at the reception we had. Kukumpi.
Yeah.
I was surprised. And the NDC had continually been asking themselves, looking at the population dynamics of this constituency, why is it that we cannot win? You understand?
Yeah.
So it was clear that NDC too, since the time of Ras Mubarak, had suffered some cracks. But they got themselves united for these particular elections. That look, for once, let's put everything aside and win this seat. And so there was an extra effort. And if you look at the circumstances surrounding the elections, you could see some level of determination and anger, zeal, desire on the part of the NDC as compared to the MPP. And my brother here will not say I'm lying. You could see it. When a group of people are determined to fight for something, you could see in their actions and reactions. While some people are complacent. So I didn't see anything different from what I expected before the election. So when the results came in, I was particularly happy that the MPP today in Ablekuma North, the accounts or the guns will say, I'm in Pele draw. Instead of asking about what's the difference.
Yeah.
You understand? It's like some days ago when House of Folk have a match with maybe Gbewa United. You ask of the score,
yeah.
and not who won.
Because it's obvious who the winner is.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the situation today. So I sit here and I say that the only reason why the MPP are taking this stand of not accepting to have the elections run in the 19 polling stations because they can foresee defeat.
But not because of the EC shifting goalposts
Because
on the matter.
when you look at the situation, the scenario that you yourself narrated, are you expecting the NDC to renege on their stand and say that we allow the declaration with the scanned copies of pink sheets? No. No, it's not something that... So between the 37 polling stations and also the 3, I think the EC itself has looked at the technicalities and decided, look, I think it would be better if we run in the 19. And I thought the MPP says that is a stronghold. So if you're a stronghold, why are you scared of running elections in 19 police stations? If it's a stronghold. And when I look at the police stations and I went back to the results, I've seen that some of them, almost close to 10 of them, have been police stations the MPP have been winning very massively. So I don't see their problem. I think to bring finality to the issue of Ablekuma North and stop punishing the two ladies, because the two ladies are going through a lot of emotional stress.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
They've gone through very difficult elections. All that happened aside, it's been almost 6 months down the line.
Yeah.
And they don't know their faith. They don't know their tomorrow. And I think we are all not being fair to the two. Especially my sister, Ekefri, who was also bereaved, lost the husband a year or two before the elections, you know. And the young lady, look, as a young lady, her future is virtually now, let me say, undecided as to where she's going from here. She's been lost. She doesn't know what to do because she stopped her job, committed herself into these elections, for which outcome is still being fought over. So I think the two parties, we must all grow up, sit down. The EC has come out with a particular decision. Let's go. Let's have the 19 polling stations. Whoever wins. And then we bring a finality to it. At least we have considered, Tema, If we say we're going to stretch it, we will continue to stretch Tema.
That's Tema Central.
Tema Central.
They're still in court, right?
Yes, the issue
Tema
is in court. But you can see from the way, we can continue to stretch Obuasi East. I'm being frank with you. Because Obuasi East, there was a declaration. There was a declaration in the presence of the MPP parliamentary candidate, who was the incumbent MP. You understand? We could stretch it. We could stretch in Sawam, Adwajiri. You understand? But, you see, sometimes there must be an end to litigation. And where we've gotten to, I would say, in the interest of the two ladies, and to bring peace to all of us as a country and build forward. Because that one seat will not significantly change the MPP's position in Parliament. You understand? It will not change the NDC's position in Parliament.
Indeed.
It won't. So, if the EC has determined that this is a middle way in order to bring peace, let's go have these elections and be done away with.
Very well. The MPP will later today hold a press conference to officially make known their position on this matter. So perhaps let's leave it here for now. Let's wait for what the party
We're having
says.
a by-election now, Yawaso West were gone. When we saw the sort of violence that was coming, we just pulled out.
Right.
I said, take it.
Let's see what happens after
To
this
spare
press
people's
conference by
blood.
the MPP. But the government has launched its 24-hour economy policy yesterday.
I like your dress, but I would have wished that you don't have to.
The colors,
Yes. The colors are a bit of a nuisance.
Right. Let me start with you, Elvis.
But the shirt is nice.
24-hour
Thank you.
economy policy. What really is it in there for Ghanaians? How do we position ourselves to derive the benefits thereof?
This is the political rhetoric we have done in the Fourth Republic. That's why we're where we are. This is all we do. Every government can repackage something, name it something.
You don't see
make
any new
noise
thing
about it.
here.
Exactly. Look, what happened to SADA? SADA. What was it not an
The
NDC
Savannah
policy?
Accelerated
Was it not an
Development
NDC initiative? Give me the achievements of SADA. MPP came, what did they do? We don't want the name SADA. We repackage it to Northern Development Authority. 8 years has passed. Give me 5 achievements of Northern Development Authority. Tell me. Development is not about political rhetoric. Development is about doing the things that change things. President Rawlings talked about construction of Pualugu Dam. Because every study has shown that when you talk about impact on agri up north, Pualugu will change a lot of things in terms of people's lives and economy. Once we get that dam done, and agri could transform significantly. President Rawlings talked about it.
Has it not been done?
Okay. President Mills
Pualugu.
No,
I thought Bawumia said it's been done.
Bawumia
says it's an achievement.
President Rawlings talked about it.
Yeah.
President Kufuor talked about it. President Mills talked about it. President Mahama first time talked about it. President Kufuor talked about it. Today, we'll be talking about it. Pualugu Dam is still not done. Akufo-Addo government gave a contract. The whole project is worth about almost $1 billion. We paid some about $12 million for some mobilization and things. Pualugu Dam has not been done. 30-something years in the Fourth Republic, every president talk about Pualugu Dam. Everybody agrees that this is a good project. If it's done, agri in the north will be a total transformation.
Yeah.
But for 30 years, we've been talking. And we will keep talking.
Buankra.
So you see, these launches and things are not what transformers. It's not what transformers. What transformers is that this Pualugu Dam is a game changer. Find the money, do it. 3 years, it's done, it's working. That is what we call transformation. It's not coming to launch these things and all the fanfare. And at the end of the day, we will be where we are.
But it begins from somewhere.
It begins from where? It's only talk. I'm telling you, I'm not going beyond the Fourth Republic. I say this Fourth Republic. And I'll give you examples as to how we have done things. 60 years, somebody talks about SADA. 8 years. Another person comes to talk about Northern Development, 8 years. Tell me the significant change in the North. For 60 years that we have been talking about, we want to do something because there's too much poverty in the North, but they have potential to transform through agriculture. Now we can transform the North. We say we are doing special projects to be able to transform the North. SADA, 8 years, and Northern Development, 8 years. Tell me what significant thing you can point to in the North and says, within the 60 years. 60 years is a long time. A child born now is almost an adult for 60 years. But we cannot point to anything from these two projects. So politicians will come and actually talk about things big, do fanfare launches and then the rest. Years later, our country still is where it is. And then we keep talking. My point is that instead of launching this, go to the market, look for money and say, I'm not launching anything. This is the money. 2 years, Pualugu will be done. Pualugu is the one we are commissioning it. I'll praise you. If you don't make any noise, you get Pualugu done. It's commissioned. Agric is transformed. It is visible for everybody. They're going to talk about it. But this talk that we have talked, and that's why I give you the example of Pualugu Dam from Jerry Rawlings to today. Every president has said that Pualugu Dam has the potential to change the fortunes of the North. But 30-something years, we have not done anything about it. It's the way it is. Pualugu Dam has not been built. You understand it? So for me, coming to talk about these things and all this, it's a political promise. And therefore, something has to be done to make the people believe that it's being fulfilled. But the reality is that practically to achieve these things, from past records that I'm referring you to, it's obvious that we only talk and we do little. And that is why we can't transform. So, 24-hour economy, I have said it, that the gateway to 24-hour economy is 1D, 1F. Okay? Ask yourself who has done any review about 1D, 1F and found out what are the positives and negatives, what are the challenges, how do we address it so that we can be able to build on it and build more factories. If you want to run 24-hour economy, it's about demand and supply. And whether even the demand, whether you can meet the demand. That is where private company will decide that we need to do more hours because we have a lot of demand to meet. But if they don't have demand, your launch of a 24-hour economy policy is meaningless to that company because bottom line is the company is a private entity. It can only deliver based on demand. If there's no demand, whatever policy you launch is meaningless to that private entity. So for me, it's not about these launches and the practical. As I said, if I wake up one day and the President Mahama announces that I'm not doing any launches, but I found $1 billion to build Pualugu Dam, in 2-3 years, the project will be done. No launches. And in 3 years, the project is done and he goes to commission it. I'll be the first person to hail him and praise him for being the person who is doing the work rather than talking. Do you understand it? If I wake up and President Mahama says, I think chicken imports, we have to reduce it. Chicken and this thing, 6 months, broilers should be ready for market. If 1 year time and President Mahama tells us that we have cut down our chicken imports, okay, by 40%, and our local production has increased by 200,000 or 300,000 metric tons, so we have cut down, and then the evidence is there. I'll praise him. But if you tell me that you are going to cut chicken imports and launch and do a farm fair, tell me it's meaningless to me because I want results, not the talk. If President Mahama, by 2 years' time, is accounting to us and rice production in this country has gone up maybe 40-50%. So our rice import, by all the figures and evidence, show that we have cut down our rice import by 30 or 40%. That is what I'll clap for. But these initiatives and launches and the farm fairs and political sloganism, look, all this will not take us anywhere because it's a political slogan. First of all, you are going to struggle to do it because you've not really sat down to look at all the, right now they ask about financing. So we are going to depend on mixed financing from donors and the rest. Who told the donor wants to finance you? You are now going to beg for money to come and do something you think is transformative. Who said that the person you are going to beg is going to give you the money the time you want it, or even is willing to give you at all?
It's interesting that I didn't find expression even in the budget.
Because you yourself have not planned. You yourself have not decided a sustainable source of what? Funding for the project because you know your economy has challenges. And therefore you are looking at, when the question was about, how do we finance it because it's not in the budget and all that. And then the issue is, we are looking at mixed financing. And who are those mixed financing and all those things that people... See, I have said it, and I want to say that if Ghana, if President Mahama tomorrow says the economy is here, I'm going to the capital market for $2-3 billion. I'm not going to use to pay salaries. I'm not going to use anything. $1 billion is going to build Pualugu Dam and in 3 years to be complete. Okay? And that $1 billion is putting this infrastructure that will transform technology in Ghana. I'm building 5 IT hubs, like industrial complex for these guys at Tiptoe Lane, these guys who repair these things. I think that the skills they have is super. They've not been to any school to learn these things, most of them, but their delivery shows that they are capable. So I'm going to take 5 cities for the first 4 years, the 1 billion I'm going to get from that money I'm going for the capital market, $200 million each is building a complex for these young people, their talent, and how we can enhance them.
Right.
And then another 1 billion, we think that maybe 500 million should go into chicken, 500 million should go into rice. And this money we are paying is not going to pay salaries. In 2 years' time, we'll be giving you the productivity figures from these things to tell you that we've invested here and these are the results.
Right.
For me, these are the things we need to be looking at. We've launched this thing so much and we should be tired of it as a people.
Right.
Because, as I said, if you look at from President Rawlings, in the Fourth Republic, all kinds of initiatives have come up. And then government comes and then we leave it aside and we are thinking about something else and then somebody comes. I think this is why I have always said, I will wish that the NDPC is made legal in the constitution, that no government comes and says, I have my manifesto. The NDPC should plan this country. What should happen? Every policy should be under their full purview. As a government, all you are supposed to do is to find money to finance what NDPC has planned. And that should be it. Government's role should be look for the revenue. As for the development of Ghana, everything that will make Ghana progress has been firmly decided by the NDPC. For government that come, don't draw any plan. We don't need you. You don't even have the capacity to do it. We've done a master plan. We believe in as a country it will work. Find the money that in the next 4 years. So when the NDPC says in the next 4 years, maybe rice production should be declined, should go up by 10%. It's the duty of the government of the day to know that it did that 4 years. It missed that target. If it says chicken production should go up by 17%, how you do it is left. The plan is they find the money to finance it. If it says we should build these kilometers of roads within the next 4 years, your duty as government is to find money so that when we are going to the vote, to vote for you as a party, we look at the deliverables that the NDPC wants you to do. How were you able to find money to achieve those deliverables? If you've done them, we renew you. If you've not done them, we get you and bring another party. That is the only, because if we had done that, SADA is a master plan that could have transformed the North. But because people put in charge mismanaged funds, we throw away the entire SADA. That is not how an NDPC project would have been done. If there were mismanagement, people would be made to go and people would be brought in and say, this vision is a good one. We are not throwing it away and we will make it. Look, if you talk to every economist today, they will tell you, if you look, take Vision 2020 by Jerry Rawlings. If we had strictly followed and done everything in that policy and achieved it, Ghana's economy would have been better than today. Vision 2020 was a good policy. It's about whether we're able to implement it. So for me, 30 years of Fourth Republic has shown that we cannot rely on politicians planning our development or planning any change economically for us. We should leave that to bodies like NDPC to do. Politicians should only come in. You have the mandate that this is what should be done within these 4 years. You find the money, implement, and let the voters judge you by how you were able to find money to deliver this.
I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you. Let me hear from Honorable Champion on the 24-hour economy. Elvis thinks that more of political rhetoric, but we are being told that he holds the power to transform the economy. Your thoughts?
I think that is the theme on which the National Democratic Congress campaigned. And they have made it their national agenda. Typically, by our governance arrangement, any new administration must put together their agenda before Parliament for it to be approved. And then we pursue that as our long and medium term, as well as short term arrangements on how you want to manage our economy. So the expressions of Elvis in respect of the NDPC, that has been the conversation with, it will interest you if you read the Hansards of Parliament. You see how passionate members of Parliament from either side have spoken about the strengthening of the NDPC. Because it is the NDPC which is the fulcrum for our growth and our prosperity. And so for me, we should come to the center as the two major political operatives in Ghana and agree on certain principles and adopt them, that this is how we believe we should run the country. Because all the things we do, we use the same ingredients. The ingredients are the public service structure as we have it. And so if you come and you don't do things right, you just be seen as not doing anything. But because we have different ideas, so ideologies vary, everybody comes with their own vehicle. And I believe this is the vehicle of the NDC, where they are talking about productivity, and they are hoping that it is going to be an inclusive growth, because they're going to allow some competitiveness. For me, my concern is sustainability, because every investment we've made in this country is there for people to see. But sustainability, how do we sustain it for it to benefit the Ghanaian people? For me, that is more important. And so it doesn't matter what people want to come up with. I just pray that we're able to succeed. Look, people may be surprised that I'm MPP and I'm talking this way. I'm talking this way because I have seen it. What Elvis said is not a lie. It is something that we have not been able to get right as a people. How do we get it right? I say this with a lot of emphasis. NDC in this administration is blessed. I tell you why. The person leading this charge, Mr. Guzitano, got angry when President Rawlings anointed late President Mills after overswallowed the declaration and decided to go and form his own political party. But my joy is that all of them have found the essence of unity, and they have come around the table and they are helping their tradition to do something new. I cry because of my tradition. We are not getting unity. But that is the only way we can be relevant in this whole space. So my concern is that I know during the transition era, Mr. Tano was praising some of the programs which had been introduced under the New Patriotic Party. For instance, when I had been made a member of the executive and I was in Eastern Region, I had visited some 1D1F facilities, which were doing well, and they were hiring young men and women. And for me, that is the economy, because it is how they survive and how do we feed those establishments that we have invested the taxpayers' money, state funds, because whether we're taking it from the Exim guarantee or any backed commercial bank with government guarantee is government guarantee. And so how do we get these things to take off and benefit the Ghanaian people? That is the only way our Ghanaian voters would have confidence in the political class. Whether we believe in it or not, the political class is seen as a group of people sitting somewhere who are not Ghanaian by Ghanaian voters. And so MPP or NDC, the Ghanaian will rise up and speak to leave these politicians as if we are from somewhere. But my concern is that NDC this time round cannot fail us with this policy they have brought. Because by the arrangement, you need to give us your wish list, which is your manifesto. And that is by which we'll be able to measure you when you've been given the mandate, like NDC has been given the mandate today. And so if we go some months, I'm not hard at them this morning because they are just 6 months into the administration. So if I criticize the policy this morning, the policy has not even been implemented. So I will not run my mouth by running them down. But I'm going to sit back because since we started this dispensation, they have been given most opportunity and they have had more experience. My tradition, apart from President Kufuor, who worked under former Prime Minister, late Dr. Buzia, most of the operatives...
And also worked under Rawlings.
Oh, I'm not taking that away. I'm talking about experience.
Yeah, he got experience.
He's one person who had seen the administration of Prime Minister Buzia and joined President Rawlings in the revolution era and exited after 3 months. So my interest is the current core of the NDC can't fail us as Ghanaian, as a people, because they have experienced the revolutionary practice metamorphosed into a democratic dispensation. And they have left it. All of them have become matured men and women today.
Yeah.
And so I wouldn't want that conversation where commentators like Elvis will come after politicians and say politicians are doing nothing. It's not just politicians. Where the politician will just dream, but the implementers will happen with the public service structure we have as a country. So if there are failures, and we're doing an evaluation, this is how we have to go for the evaluation. And so for me, as a statesperson, who I know definitely I have no choice but to contribute to the upkeep and the growth of our community, I believe that if we begin to orient ourselves in this manner, we'll go further than we are doing now. Because that, forgive my language, the JCR conversation of push and pull has taken us nowhere. And that's exactly what Elvis described. I call it JCR because those ages, you are very exuberant. And you know, you use all the energies for all kinds of talks. But when you mature, now I'm having some gray beard. So I've realized that, hey, the cycle I'm going far, what have I been able to achieve? So my reasoning is different from when I used to be that person jumping and talking. Now I want to see some legacies. And this is where we have come up to. I would sit. I agree when you said it didn't find space in the budget, but you should not lose sight of the fact that the Minister of Finance is going to go back to Parliament within this month to report on how his economy has performed in the first half of the year. In that space, there's opportunity to introduce some of these things which they left, because I give them the benefit of the doubt. They just inherited an administration 6 months ago. And so they were in a rush to put, that has been the structure, that has been the style. Any first budget of an administration, you take office in January, they're supposed to present a budget by end of March, because we only do votes on an account to pay for emoluments and wages and salaries of personnel. So we don't do much. And then within 3 months, you have to make sure you put everything together. You would have inherited a structure from the administration which is exiting. The budget which was drawn and was presented to us. You have the technocrats in the Ministry of Finance. They've gone nowhere. Right. They are the ones who are assisting the previous administration. The same team who are assisting this. So it is their template. But then you come in with your ideas to fit and flesh it up. Right. So I'm hoping that in this media review, once they've now advertised this to us, that this is the agenda they intend implementing, I hope and pray they are able to do something with the window which they have in this month. Right. If they don't do that, then it gives me room to come after them. That, hey, your experience, put it to proper use.
Very well, thank you. Honorable Van der Poel, the president says the journey will be tough, but the future is bright.
I want to buy breakfast for my brother.
A well-deserved one.
Yeah, I agree to some extent, and I want to understand Elvis's point, you know. Due to certain things that we've seen in this country in the past, a lot of people have become a bit pessimistic about political promises and political policies. Because sometimes we craft very nice, good policies, but implementation becomes a problem.
Yeah.
And I was happy he mentioned issue of Palugu. Yes, Palugu has been on the books. But I thought somewhere 2 years ago, the former vice president said it's one of their most important achievements. You know.
Okay.
But you see, yesterday,
I refuse your breakfast.
Yesterday, there was one significant statement made by President John Dramani Mahama. And to me, it was the takeaway of the whole program. And I quote, "The vision behind the 24-hour economy and the accelerated export development program was born from reflection during and after my previous term in office." End of quote. So like my brother said, he's somebody who has benefited from the position he's occupied. He had anticipated certain policies and programs during that term. It didn't yield all the results he anticipated. He had an opportunity now. The second thing he said, which is very important to me, is that this is going back to historically the way Kwame Nkrumah had planned our accelerated development.
Right.
And I have read a lot of books on what Kwame Nkrumah wanted to do with the Volta Basin. Today, as we sit, you and I will agree, probably the only agro basin in this country which is not being degraded is the Volta Basin. Because what are we seeing in the north? What are we seeing in the western region? When I was coming, I was listening to your radio station. And Bernard read a message that had been sent to him about the dangers ahead of the country in the western north and western region. You understand? Critically, my brother is sitting here. The eastern region, the hitherto green eastern region, what is happening? So we are not doing something new, but we are remodeling the wheel that had been invented by our leaders of the past, especially Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. And when you look at the way Kwame Nkrumah started, the whole idea with the accelerated agro industry to create jobs, maximize revenue, and also reduce our dependency on imports.
Right.
Why did Kwame Nkrumah set up all these refineries, processing plants, and all these things? It's to add value to the raw materials that we were going to produce. So, if you listen to Guzitano when he was on your channel, his emphasis was for this country to become resilient and stop depending on foreign imports. Resilience means that we'll be able to export more, we will be able to add value, reduce import, and also create jobs and create wealth for our own people. It will also help us to be able to stand against unfortunate externalities. So it is important that we look at this with a different perspective. And I will beg my brother to move away from his pessimism and become a bit optimistic. Because the reality of the situation is that every Ghanaian today have realized that we can't continue to chart the path we've charted in the past, because that cannot help us. I am happy that the president gave us some figures. He said for a start, about 400 million is going to be for the seed money, and the rest will be private participation. And he said something very significant. Government is going to be facilitating and not dominating. You understand? Government will be facilitating this. And I have seen that structure happening in China, for example. Government facilitating the development of industry and private capital being injected into those industries and blossoming them. So it is not, the 24-hour economy is not one of those rhetorics by politicians. That's why he said it's a process that is beginning. And he even mentioned the fact that the 24-hour economy secretariat will be answerable and deal directly with the president. And you listen to him say that
not he as an individual.
Not he as an individual, but the office.
The office.
So whoever occupies the office tomorrow will have direct responsibility to make sure. And I think that is the issue. When the president decide to take a particular and focus attention on it. It's unfortunate that President Kufuor, for example, brought out good initiatives, called them presidential initiatives.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
PSI.
yeah, unfortunately, the managers of that policy, the managers of that policy are the ones who didn't make it thrive. Look, one of the things I said, and I want Elvis to understand one thing. As a Ghanaian, I have been privileged to serve as Deputy Minister for Trade before. And I can tell you, if there is no demand, why are we saying we become import dominated? You understand? For us today, even tomatoes, we are importing.
Yeah.
So as for the demand, is there. The people who are importing tomatoes have not stopped importing. They go through harrowing experiences to travel all the way to bring the tomatoes. It means that there is demand for tomatoes. So if Feed Ghana, as an accelerated agriculture policy, is going to help us reduce our dependence on tomato imports, it's happening. And yesterday, I think the misconceptions about the 24-hour economy was a bit removed and erased and deleted, because President Kumama made it clear, 24-hour economy is not just about extending hours of work. You understand? Which hitherto, some people have played politics and made propaganda out of, that the Kelewele seller does 24 hours.
Yeah.
You understand? Restaurants run 24. You know, that is a... But then, I believe if all of us will pick the document now and look at it, it's not just a matter of extending working hours, but an accelerated development in production, which will automatically lead to extension of normal working hours. You understand? And then the enclaves are where, you know, when I was growing up here, and I know my brother will bear me, you know, witness to this. Tema was our industrial enclave.
Yeah.
And in the morning, workers, all these buses, various industrial buses, pick workers, take them to Tema. They close, it brings them back to come in Kuma Circle, for example, and Accra Central, and then pick those who are going for evening shift back. Early morning, you see them coming, and others are going.
Not in the industrial area here.
Yeah.
Had the same thing.
Yeah. So it is not something that we have never, as a country, done before. And it's not something that should be strange. It's not rocket science for us.
No.
We've done it before. All that we need to do as a present generation, reconscientizing ourselves to the policy directives of our elders before us who did this.
Right.
And say, look, maybe we forgot our first love. Let's go back to it and see how that will be a catalyst for accelerated development for all of us.
Very well. All right, let's take a break here. We'll come back and then we'll look at how we can tie in the various other initiatives and policies into the 24-hour economy to develop or to transform our economy. This is Breakfast Daily here on Channel One TV. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
This week on the Upside Down Show, the untouchable DJ Mensa joins Premier Edinyame and Nana Tufo.
Did you have to compete for a session? What was it like back then?
It's not like today. It was, first of all, even to get the equipment is a problem. I had to learn on the job because right after school, nobody was going to give me the equipment. I had to buy my first equipment with a story. There was a DJ that came from the UK. At that time, it was Aphrodisiac. He was, don't touch this until I come. But I wanted to use it. He came and I was playing on set. Full house. He ejected
Are you serious?
the CDs out and threw them away.
Also featuring is Ash Benny, an energetic, vibrant musician.
I go with the rhythm of the music. Everybody, Charlie, make we party. Party with the rhythm of the music. Hey, hey, hey. We go party.
Do you love magic? Join us as Manuel the Magician does his stuff. Make a date with us this Sunday at 7 p.m. prompt only on Channel 1 TV.
You're welcome back. This is Breakfast Daily here on Channel 1 Television. We're having a conversation in studio regarding the 24-hour economy. I'll take a few of your messages and then I'll go back to my guest so we can wrap up that conversation. This one says, I don't know why the EC will want to score an own goal by giving a seeming credence to Asiedu Nketiah's assertion that they are not fit for purpose. And I also don't want to believe they want to be in the good books of the ruling party so they don't go ahead to remove them from office. This is Pascal Dunyo from Afife. Sergio Baba from Balgatanga says, nobody is against the 24-hour economy, but the truth is that it's a demand-driven policy. It will automatically be enforced if the demand is high. The private sector won't operate 24 hours if the demand doesn't exceed supply. But for the public sector, it is only going to be job for the boys and nothing else. This one says, good morning, Nana. If the NDC could not do the 24 hours economy, no one will be surprised. They didn't win the election because of the 24-hour economy policy. People were just angry with the Kufuor for no reason. Setman from Osu sent that one in. Right, Elvis. Now back to the policy and the importance of tying in all other initiatives and programs, existing ones, previous ones, to help, bring it same into fruition and of course transform the economy the way we are being told it should do.
You see, I'm happy. The honorables, maybe the way I went, they are not disagreeing with me. They are only agreeing with me, but only in a different
manner.
And I'm happy honorable knowing that they actually mentioned presidential initiatives.
Yes, PSI.
Ask yourself today, what are the results of presidential initiatives? This is what I'm saying, that when we allow governments to be the ones that are leading such projects, it suffers a lot of consequences and doesn't deliver the results. Now that's what I'm saying, that when it is led by a government, we will definitely suffer. But if it's led by and it's an NDPC, and we say this is a plan for Ghana, it's not for Mahama, it's not for Akufo-Addo. It is for Ghana. You understand it? Honorable Nilan said it's not government, it's going to be private sector. I believe that if you read the 1D1F policy, it is the same idea that government is not the one going to own or build factories. Government is creating the environment for private sector to leverage on. So why is 1D1F no longer in the picture? Because it's a Akufo-Addo project. And that is why we suffer. So the same model Akufo-Addo used, and because the expected results was not achieved, because there was this anticipation that 1D1F was going to create so much job that all the employment in the country was going to be over. And then after the election, they won the power. People say, why are the jobs? Government saying 1D1F. They say, oh, it's not government that's building factories. It is individuals, but government is creating the environment. So the building of the factories took longer time to do because the private person will decide as and when to invest. The private person will look at all conditions and decide that if I want to invest in Ghana, this is useless. I will not make money. I won't do it. It doesn't matter the government persuasion. I won't do it. Because it is private capital that is being put there. And private capital always is focused on return on investment. So it doesn't care the amount of money. Our president can go and kneel down and beg. They will not bring the money to come and build. Because it is somebody's money. When he wants to invest, he's looking at, this is I'm going to invest. What are the conditions in that country? How is he sure that I'm going to be able to make money? If he's sure that he's not going to make money, it's not coming. So it's the same approach. So the fate of 1D1F will not be different from the fate of this one because the approach is the same. The approach is the same.
It's not the same.
It's the same. It's the private people you want them to lead. It's not government, right? You mentioned that the president, Mama said, no government. It's private person. A private person comes to invest his money, doesn't care about whether the president wants him to invest or not. He is looking at, if I put my money here, what's the guarantee there will be return on investment? And so long as he's not convinced about return on investment, not putting his money. So that's why I said that if this government had wanted to do something really good, the first thing is to review the 1D1F to find out this is the same approach.
And use it as a
What
catalyst.
happens?
for
Where
the-
and where are the challenges?
But
and how can we
said,
how can we
said
look
that.
at those things and work on it? You understand?
Elvis,
So
Guzi
for
said
me,
that on Channel 1.
Yeah,
Look,
he said
yeah.
that.
Guzi
Look.
actually mentioned
Yes.
look,
some of these things.
he mentioned why companies in Tema have collapsed and that there's demand. The issue is not about the demand alone. Oh. The demand is there by the cost of local production. The city has gone down like this, but POS has increased utility tariffs. So demand, Ghanaians want to buy the thing. The question, which one is affordable?
And that's
If producing in the country is more expensive than producing in
economy,
yeah,
all
that's it.
those industries are going to have rebate on.
Oh, Akufo-Addo gave a lot of rebate to one companies.
Give him the time.
Akufo-Addo government gave a lot. One day I'll come here. We'll do the figures about how much has been given to these companies in terms of. This. You'll be shocked about the amount of money we have invested in, even to support these private companies to be able to exist. Before one day, we have a free zones. Give me the report on the performance of free zones companies and their impact on the Ghanaian economy, and in addition to productivity. Tell me. So I'm saying that we've done these things in the past 30 years. If the politicians lead, it always doesn't deliver. That's why I'm saying that if we want to do this thing, what has happened today, what has happened? The best thing would be for this thing to be led by NDPC, not any government, not Guzitando, or anybody. There's a national development commission. You understand it? It's a national development planning commission. Give it to them. Let the name of a president Mahama not be attached to it. We are not learning from our political lessons and how it causes the failure of this project. Look, look, you talk about PSI. Tell me the result of PSI. I mentioned SADA. Tell me. You say government will facilitate. The same thing government to facilitate. Look, this policy did not talk about, I didn't even hear them talk about the fact that we are the biggest manufacturers in Africa, producers of gold. Where are we going to say that we are not adding value? Ghanaians take flights from here to Dubai to go and buy gold chains and this ornament. We are making a policy that 50% of all the gold producing guys no longer going to be exported. We are putting an industrial eclipse where all people who are going to add value to gold should do it here before they take it out. This is what Botswana has done about their diamond. They used to export it like the way we do. The government took a policy and they said, no, but Botswana diamond is going to go out for processing.
Now they're adding value.
If you want it, come and buy it here, process it here, and send it back. Send the value-added product back, no longer the raw material. Go and watch the internet, see the young people that are being employed and the change it is making. I watched Angola the last time. It has the 4th largest diamond mine in the world. The community where the mine is, the company has changed all the buildings, everything in the community. And the employees of the company are young people from that community. They are doing the processing in that community. Up to now, Ghana has no zone where you say, oh, you are looking for gold ornament. It's people from Dubai, India, and the rest who should be traveling to Ghana to come and buy gold ornaments. But today it's the opposite. We sit on planes to go and buy gold ornament. When we are the second largest, Africa now, we are the largest gold producer in Africa. And then we go and put up a policy, and we are looking at, instead of talking just for, as I said, focus on the practicality. Every company that buys our gold, India or Dubai or whatever, it is value you are adding there. We are not going to send the gold to you anymore. Come and set up the processing, do the ornament, the jewelry and things here. And you can export the jewelry to go and sell. We want to create job for the young people in that industry here. This is what we want to do. But we are happy. Say Gold Board has sent about 50 tons of gold from Sweden, and we have exported, we have brought in dollars. We are more focused on bringing the dollars rather than creating jobs for the people. So you see, they mentioned Gustavo presented 1.7 million jobs. I laughed. I said, politicians don't learn about jobs. President Mostak, they created this number of jobs. When the questions were coming, it is back and forth. Previous government, they said they created 2 million jobs. When the questions started coming, give us, it was back and forth. Okay, we employ people with the security services. We now call it a job creation. That cannot absorb us because government payroll cannot take it. We should understand that when we want to do private sector-led things, let's look at more practical things than writing these big books. As I said, if President Mahama wake up and say, I'm going to the capital market, I'm getting 1 billion, it's not for paying salary or anything. It's just going to build Palugu Dam. That's a more practical way of doing things. If President Mahama wake up tomorrow and says, 50% of all the gold produced in this country is my directive that it can't be exported. All the India and Dubai companies that are buying this thing, come and set up companies here, process the gold here, do everything here, and send the jewelry abroad to go and sell. That one will not stop you. Everybody that wants to buy gold jewelry genuine will be traveling to Ghana. If President Mahama wake up tomorrow and says, I've partnered to turn all this, we are having a cocoa processing company in Ghana that will process maybe 70% of what the cocoa beans we produce in Ghana. This is the support. This is what will be done. Now, it is Ghana chocolate that will dominate the market, not us selling our cocoa to Switzerland. Our diplomatic relation with Switzerland is more based on the fact that our cocoa is the best. They want to be nice with that and get our best cocoa to go and do the chocolate and get the name as the best producers of chocolate in the world when they don't produce the quality cocoa. This is a policy that President Mazuka can one day say, no, that will not continue anymore.
All right.
This is the practicality of getting the thing rather than writing these books and nice policy on paper. As we say, PSI had a nice policy. One day had a nice policy. Southern had a nice policy. NDA, they all had nice policies on paper. But in the past 30 years, that all these nice paper policies have been written, launched with fanfare,
and that's what they remain.
And
paper
trumpeted.
policies.
And trumpeted. Tell me today, the actual outcomes, things we can point to practically, that with all this nice policy wrote on paper by politicians for their political campaigns and announcements, tell me the benefit. Today we are, palm oil is imported by Unilever to produce a soap for us. When we are the country where Malaysia came to pick palm to go and plant. And up to today, we can't produce the standard palm oil that they will buy here. And they will spend over $100 million to import palm oil to do soap and sell it to us to bath and wash our hands.
Thank you.
This is what we should be talking about.
Thank you. Honorable Champo, let's bring you on the creation of that conducive environment. If really we want this policy to be successful, we need that conducive environment for the private sector participation and, of course, the private sector to thrive.
My prayer is that my friends in NDC are not going to be selective. That is the only way this policy will succeed.
They're preaching inclusivity in this particular
I've seen
initiative.
it being written on paper. There's always a beautiful script, and then implementation sees something else.
Right.
And that's what I pray that it never happens. My major concern, and I really empathize with Elvis for the frustration, but it is the Ghanaian. It is not just the political class. I'm not being on the defensive for the political class. You have to do a proper dissection of our governance system, and then you begin to appreciate who the Ghanaian is. It is my pain. If you are an owner of a small business and you recruit people and you give them times to come to work and you engage and work with them, you begin to see the systemic failure. They stare right at you in the face. For me, that is my biggest challenge. It's not about the sloganeering that has passed. That's why I talked about the legacy. And I am hoping that this current administration, with the amount of experience is garnered from the inception of this Fourth Republican practice, I expect them to do much better. That's why I am folding my arms and not criticizing what has happened. So for me, if they're not going to go by the old practice of being selective as to who they know to be their friend or they know to be their sympathizer, and not forget of everybody and open up and help the generality of the business community. Hey, it will be difficult for MPP to come back. If they do so. But if they go by doing their own practice, it is their own cup of tea. I didn't worry myself so much about how we have arrived at 24-hour economy. Fortunately, every politician learns. When they put it in their manifesto, they will tell me that they didn't want to put the details in there for us to know what it was. I'm not pretending.
They didn't want you to copy.
Oh, we to copy. We have no time to copy. They know we won't copy them. But you know,
that's just
speaker upon speaker from the NDC, speaker upon speaker from the NDC got lost. And when they are pushed against the wall, when they are pushed against the wall, you realize that, hey, man, it's a rhetoric. That's where Elvis found it out. But beautiful, like I said, they've gone back. They've been able to put together a document. You have to respect man hours when spent judiciously. And this document, I can testify that they've spent good man hours to prepare this. Because, you see, what you may not know is that this will be laid in Parliament as the agenda of the government. And we are also going to get the opportunity to take it and scrutinize it and critique it well. So that's the reason why you won't find me running after it
Yeah.
the way you expect me to be haste. No, you have to take your time,
Yeah.
read it, and then you do some comparisons to see. We came up with 1D, 1F. It's the same vehicle they are going to implement, but under a 24-hour economy. So, I may not see the same vehicle, but similar idea or the same principle they want to, come up with. How is it going to benefit the Ghanaian people? Because at the end of the day, I live in this economy. That's why sometimes when I say country broke, country no broke, with the inside, people don't understand me. You are going nowhere. Whether we believe in President Mahama or not, President Mahama is going to be our president until 6th of January 2029. So whatever he does, you have to pray for him, for it to go well. If it goes bad, I'm going to suffer.
Yeah.
Like now, I don't know whether we'll have time to discuss your third topic of the energy. Now that they are increasing, not just that, not even 1 Ghana cedi. Now that non-life insurance is going to go as
15%.
high that much, it's not child's play matter. You go to the insurance and you ask to pay premium and they're taking so much money. That's when you begin to feel that, hey, there's no cushioning in the system today. So these are things that you have to pray that they get it right. If they don't get it right, definitely I'm the alternative. And that one, he can't run away from it. I know he's going to fall. So he's my brother, he's great. His hair is more gray than mine. So if fall, and I'll come after him.
Very well. All right, 24-hour economy. We are courting private sector participation, but are the conditions favorable? The high interest rates are still there. The poor infrastructure is still there. The bureaucratic inefficiencies are still there. How do we surmount all this to ensure the success of this policy?
Well, I would say this is still part of the pessimism that has characterized a lot of things. This, I wish that people will have the opportunity to read the document. And I thought that after Guzitano's presentation on your network last night, a lot of things would have come up. I know that misconceptions have thrived when it comes to issues like this. And that's the reason why with Jomama saying that we're going to see different things being done. And he made it clear that this is a different vehicle altogether, where a lot of thinking, a lot of listening. And when I saw the composition of the team that has worked on this yesterday, I was happy. Because some of them have been people who have worked with the UN, development agencies, ADB, and other places, all bringing their technical know-how to bear. And I was happy when the president mentioned specifically how this is going to be privately led and how this is not going to suffer the bureaucracies that a previous policies have suffered. And when you look at the various dimensions, some of these things have already started. Because when you listen to the Greek minister, issues about Akukon Ketenkete, it's a whole agenda to accelerate our poultry production and to reduce our dependency on foreign imports of poultry. You understand?
Yeah.
When you look at Feed Ghana, it's a whole new idea of accelerated agricultural production to be able to provide the raw materials to feed the industries.
This is what Elvis don't want to hear.
The industries. And you see, whether we like it or not, everything will be crafted and put on the ground. The fact that it has failed at a particular time doesn't mean that we should not believe that it will be successful this time. You understand? That's what I'm saying. Yeah, bida. This country, I'm not saying even the NDC, this country as a people, we've done it before. And so when we've come to a level of realization that, look, it looks like we've drifted from this way of becoming export dependency and not import dependency. So let's see how we can go back to that.
Right.
I think we should all be happy and said, for the first time, we have people who want to drive us back to what used to be. The other issue is, you see, my brother mentioned something which has become very critical. Let me say this. In every jurisdiction, if you are said that it should not be partisan I will accept. But selectivity is the key. Because you throw your money to anybody. Look, even in the US, of all places, government support to industry is not omnibus. There is always the, let me say, procedure to select those who really have the potential to succeed and make it possible. You understand? Like the Bible. Why not? Look, I've been in the government before under President Mills and John Dramani Mahama. Government gave so much support to individuals.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, sitting there as a politician, there were some instances that I cringed because I know the background of those people.
I didn't know Ghanaians.
Thank you.
Good.
So our government did not look at that. Huge sums of money were injected into their businesses. They created jobs for Ghanaians. They created money for Ghanaians.
Did say.
Yeah, so I'm saying that we should not be that word selective, whether we like it or not.
That's, I was just cautioning.
No, I agree with you.
You understand?
But I'm
was
saying
just
that,
cautioning.
for example, in Nigeria, look, today, all of us know that there was a determined effort by a Nigerian government to bail people like Dangote.
Yeah.
You understand me? It's the same way. If John Mahama's government, if tomorrow Seth comes and goes to John and say, look, I am in Afram Plains, which I know he is. I'm doing this farming. These are assistance I need to be able to increase my production. I don't think John Mahama will look at Seth and say, oh, because you wear a particular color, I'm not going to support. Because at the end of it all, Seth's production is going to make this country reduce its dependence on foreign import. Seth is going to create job, and other Ghanaians are going to get and pay tax. And government will make revenue.
Right.
You understand? So that's the reason why I'm saying that, look, someone like Guzitano is an industrialist, a private industrialist. He may have been political, but as today, as you and I know him, he's a private industrialist. And he's gathered together people from the private sector, technocrats from the public service and National Development Planning Commission, as my brother said. National Development Planning Commission is part of this whole thing. You understand? Because it is not a Mahama agenda. It's a Ghana agenda. That's what Mama said. Look, we are going back to what our founder of the nation started.
Ghana agenda led by Mahama.
Thank you. I like that.
Yeah.
It's a Ghana agenda led by Mahama. I agree perfectly.
Right.
So it is something that, as he said, all of us must begin to pray and to wish that this program succeeds. Because it's a path for Ghana and not for a political party. And I can give my brother all the assurances that just as we were not selective yesterday, we will not be selective or discriminate.
Is it?
No, never. Because at the end of it, look, if a Ghanaian, no matter his political party, has what it takes to make 24-hour economy successful, at the end of it all, it is John Mahama's 24-hour that have been successful, and not that person. You understand me? So anybody who sees it and think that because somebody is wearing a particular color, so we're not going to assist the person to enhance the 24-hour economic policy, that person must be dreaming. Not under John Mahama's government. It will not happen. It will not happen. Because we're looking at this succeeding and making people like Elvis change their perception about politicians. That for once, he will get up and write. For once, I thought it was going to be the same song. But this time, it's a different chorus. I will be happy.
Right. Let me take a few messages and then we can wrap up. We might not be able to get into our third topic of the day. Our time is almost spent. Yeah. So this one says, great analysis by my uncle Elvis Dakon. It's always a pleasure listening to him. Great insights this morning. Good morning. God bless him abundantly. Master Planner Junior, you say you're a policy analyst from Kintampo. This one says, good morning, Nana.
Master Planner Junior.
Good morning, Nana. Tell Elvis that it is the same NDPC that jettisoned the 40-year development plan for another 2057 development policy. The solution is political will to see through effective implementation of the 24-hour economy policy proposal. We'll get there. It's from Christian. Alhaji Hamza from Pig Farm says, good morning, my brother. I humbly disagree with my brother Elvis comparing the 1D, 1F to the 24-hour economy. I don't think it was a comparison. It wasn't a comparison. This is totally different because we are talking about two different personalities here. President promises and he delivers. And trust me, he's going to deliver. Elvis should be rest assured. And let's all come together to support his beautiful policy in the interest of Mother Ghana. Elvis, the people say be optimistic. Be rest assured. JDM will deliver.
That's why you'll be organizing National Day of Prayer. Because you think the answer is in prayer. Wishes and prayers don't deliver what must be done practically. God created you in his image, gave you a brain to think.
Yes.
What you have to do with your thinking and your capability, God will not drop from heaven to come and do it for you. We should get it straightforward. This table, God has given somebody mind to build it. God will not drop for him to come and build this table. If the person who has the mind to build it will not build it. Our problem is that we are not ready to build. We think God will drop for him. We are just jokers. It will not happen. Look, I'm not being optimistic. I've given you the facts.
Right.
From PSI to SADA to Northern Development Authority, every Vision 2020, everything I've given you all the facts that in the past 30 years, all these things are politicians-led initiative. Where are we today?
Right.
Why are we not looking at the facts to guide ourselves? Look, if we are not guided by the past and the facts, everything we do will fail. And that's why we are failing. Please, let's take it. Nobody should take and be up to. I'm telling you the factual issue that what we need to do to transform it is not about policy launches.
It should be practical.
Somebody said it's two different personalities. Who said two different personalities? And so that's why the results will come. Let's be realistic. Let's be practical.
Well,
let's do the right thing.
Thank you, Elvis. Honorable, 30 seconds. Final thing. You have a wish?
Let them finish.
No. Wish your birthday.
Oh, it's my brother. Anything quick. Today is his birthday. He lives at Lashibi. Happy birthday to you, my brother.
Happy birthday.
If there is a party, invite us.
Nikwe, I'll be waiting for the invitation because I give my time. No, the point is clear and it's abundantly clear. I know Elvis as a practitioner in this space of journalism. I invite him to go pick up some of the Hansards and look at how we have dispassionately spoken about NDPC, and how NDPC needs to be strengthened and given the teeth to bite. I think I can say from here that neither MPP nor NDC have resourced NDPC enough to do what it's supposed to do. And so that is a failure on ourselves as a state.
I visited the offices and I was demobilized.
And
I didn't know whether to go to my left or the right.
I think we have to do much more better with that institution to guide us going forward. Because all the things we are talking about, like Nee said, hey, you can never run an economy without the economic actors on the ground. Because there are people who imports rubber, who imports paper, somebody does it as a trade. And so they are the ones you need to survive. So you can't do this business without them. So for me, that's what when I talked about selectivity, I just don't want to hear that this person's business is being muscled out because they suspected he supported Mr. A or Mr. B. That's my fear. It has happened. It isn't that it's not happened before. It has. People have been made to resign from their own established financial institutions just because a political person thought that they supported the opponent in times past, and it is not a pleasant practice at all.
Honorable Boy, 30 seconds.
Well, I would say this that it's taking a lot of commitment to be able to put this down, and I'm happy that Seth said he went through this, and a critic like Bernard Avle yesterday after sitting down, with Guzi, accepted that maybe this is a time for all of us to be very optimistic about the way forward.
That's cautionary optimism.
Well, fine. It's good to put a caution to every optimism you have. But I'm saying that let's have an optimistic view about what is going to happen, because I am encouraged and strengthened by what John Mahama himself said, that the vision behind the 24-hour economy is born out of reflection during his time as a president and his time as in opposition. So critically speaking, you see that there is this element of having an idea of leaving behind a legacy for the future.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. This has been good. My name is Nana Tufo-Boateng. This has been the news review segment here on Breakfast Daily. Stay with us. The show continues.
Every day, people have money emergencies. Ma, I need my school fees emergency. Mommy, chop money emergency. Emergency. Catch it. I'm your rent emergency. Now, there's a new emergency number in town.
More money, challenge and enjoyment. At the top life we got.
Dial star 770 hash for all your money emergencies and chop life.
Dial star 770 hash for money emergencies and get easy and quick access to your money, loans, and other banking needs. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Let's get into the world of sports like never before.
You know how we do it on Fridays.
Join us every Friday at 7 p.m. on 97.3 City FM for Sports Panorama, your ultimate destination for all things sports.
One of the biggest scandals in this country's history. You can't spend 250 million USD and come out with that.
From the thrill of association football to the excitement of basketball, tennis, athletics, and even emerging sports, we cover it all. Whether it's the Premier League or the latest NBA showdown, we bring you the stories behind the stars.
Getting an opportunity to become a national team coach, he should understand the politics around football.
And don't miss the prayer of the rabbi.
Joe was Zebaut. How Zebaut there? Zebaut won Chaboke.
We're not just about the games, we're about the community.
If you are going to be given this kind of treatment, then you need to be that guy. When I look at him play, he is not it.
Or when it's time for Don't Call Me. Join the conversation as we connect with fans across the country and beyond. Want the latest updates? Send us your thoughts and we'll feature your comments live on air. And remember, we like to hear your predictions for matches and your thoughts in general. Think you know who's going to win? Let us know.
Big shout outs to my YouTube people.
Tune in every Friday at 7 p.m. only on 97.3 City FM. Sports Panorama, where sports come alive.
Amen.
Sports Panorama, your weekly sports fix. Don't miss out on the action. Sports Panorama. Catch the excitement every Friday. When the stars come out, Ghana Weekend turns up the lights. From the hottest red carpet moments to the wildest after parties. And for all your celebrations, anniversaries, and unforgettable moments, if it's happening, we're there. First, fast, and fabulously. Your front row pass to Ghana's A-list lifestyle is just a click or a channel away. GhanaWeekend.com and Ghana Weekend TV, where fame meets the fans. Promote your next big event with us, because when you party with the stars, the whole nation of Black Stars should know. Visit GhanaWeekend.com, watch and subscribe to Ghana Weekend TV on YouTube. Stay connected with us across all platforms. Follow us on Instagram with the handle at GhanaWeekend.com, on X at Ghana Weekend, on TikTok, Ghana Weekend, and on Facebook at Ghana Weekend. Join the Ghana Weekend family today. Ghana Weekend, all access, all glam, all yours.
In a world filled with challenges, we all need guidance, hope, and a lifeline to anchor us.
This is Lifeline, and I'm your host, Fred Crunchy Mensa.
For social issues, relationship challenges, and family matters, Lifeline is here to inspire, uplift, and guide you on your journey.
Where we give you support, where we hold your hand through the valley and through the thick and thins of life.
Join Bishop Fred Crunchy Mensa.
I welcome you especially to Lifeline,
every Tuesday and Thursday at 10 p.m. right here on Channel 1 TV. Let's walk this path together, strengthen our faith, our families, and our lives. Lifeline, because every soul deserves a guiding light. Tune in to Lifeline on Channel 1 TV and let's grow together. This week on the Upside Down Show, the untouchable DJ Mensa joins Frema Edinyame and Nana Tufo.
Did you have to compete for a session? What was it like back then?
It's not like today. It was, first of all, even to get the equipment is a problem. I had to learn on the job because right after school, nobody was going to give me the equipment. I had to buy my first equipment with a story. There was a DJ that came from the UK. At that time, it was Aphrodisiac. He was, don't touch this until I come. But I wanted to use it. He came and I was playing on set. Full house. He ejected
Are you serious?
the CDs out and threw them away.
Also featuring is Ash Benny, an energetic, vibrant musician.
I do with the rhythm of the music. Everybody, Charlie, make we party. Party with the rhythm of the music. We go party.
Do you love magic? Join us as Manuel the Magician does his stuff. Make a date with us this Sunday at 7 p.m. prompt only on Channel 1 TV.
Welcome. It's Play to Aid.
Get ready for the game show where every play has a purpose. Welcome to Play to Aid, the only game show where your knowledge and skill don't just win you prizes, they help change lives.
What sport is considered the most popular in the world?
Every point you earn goes toward real-world support, from school supplies to health kits, clean water to emergency relief. Play smart, play big, Play to Aid. Catch all the action, the drama, and the heat.
Most commonly spoken language in Brazil.
Portuguese.
Play to Aid every Sunday at 3:30 p.m. only on Channel 1 TV.
Edna, let's begin.
The Play to Aid game show is proudly sponsored by Tang Palace, Giraffe Island, and VVIP.
And of course, we are excited that you stay with us here on Breakfast Daily on Channel 1 TV. We are continuing from where Nana Tufo Boateng left off with the guests talking about all the things you need to know in the world of politics and other matters in this country. I am Philip Ni Latte.
And I'm Jifa Kedi Akoto. Good morning and thank you so much for sticking with us right here on Breakfast Daily. It's going to be a jolly ride from now till the hour of 11. So do stay with us as we'll be bringing you some conversations in your communities as well as all that is happening around the world and more. You can join us via various socials at Channel 1 TV GH and send us a message. Alternatively, you can hop onto our WhatsApp console and send us a WhatsApp message on the WhatsApp number 020-444-7033.
And before we begin the show, we still want to thank you out there for being part of last month's City Business Festival month and all the things we brought to you on screen and on radio. If not for you, we wouldn't have been able to do what we did. So it's on our screens to all our supporters, our sponsors, partners, viewers, and listeners for making the City Business Festival 2025 a success. And as usual, sponsored by APSA, MTN, Zondatech, powered by Channel 1 TV, and also City 97.3 FM. We are so much grateful for that. Maybe that support you gave us to be part of the City Business Festival.
Right. Need we remind you that something exciting something new, something very, very informative is coming on Channel One TV this Sunday at 6:30 p.m. prompt. Do make a date as we bring you Volunteers TV show, which seeks to uncover powerful stories of service, sacrifice, and hope. It is something that you do not want to miss out on. Let's join, share the stories. Let's join, hear the sacrifices that people have to go through. So join us this Sunday at 6:30 p.m. right here on Channel One TV as we bring you Volunteers TV show.
I'm grateful for all that, and make sure that you're part of this TV show. But let's start with the trends. What is trending? I don't know whether to start with the sad one, or we should put at the bottom when we are ending with everything.
Philip, whatever be the case, we are going to talk about it anyway. Just
it.
Before we got into the studio.
Yeah, a very sad one came up. Liverpool star Diogo Jota has died at the age of 28 after his Lamborghini vehicle veered off the road in northern Spain. So just happened 2 weeks after he married his childhood sweetheart. The Portuguese forward was traveling in a super fast car or a supercar with his fellow football brother Andre, who is 26 years, who also died in the crash. It's believed that his Lamborghini vehicle's tire got blown out while overtaking on the A50 to around 70 miles west of the historic city of Valladolid. And the car came off the road, crashed, and then burst into flames in the early hours of this morning. The very sad one is that he got married not long ago, and it's a very sad one for the Liverpool fans, and the team itself is actually trending, and a lot of comments or tweets with that coming on the timeline. Says that from Fabrizio, he says that Liverpool striker Diogo Jota and his brother have both passed away due to traffic accidents. Reports coming from Macca, and he says that deepest condolence, support, and thoughts are to those involved, his family and loved ones. This is a very sad one. We wouldn't wish this on anybody.
His kids are really young. Yeah, 3 children, very
28
young.
28 years, and it's a very sad one. I don't know, my voice is shaking.
It's a very emotional one.
It's a very emotional one.
To think that I understand his birthday was yesterday as well. So passing away just a day after your birthday.
It's a very sad
It's a very sad one. And the fact that he got married barely 2 weeks ago.
Anyway, that said, there is also another issue trending in Ghana, which has to do with UPSA.
Right.
Yesterday, I'm sure if you were following media space, you would notice that the institution took a bold step, if I'll put it that way, to ensure that the needed thing is done. If you are not dressed properly, or you are not within or wearing the dress code prescribed for the institution, people have come out indicating that at least the school shouldn't have done that, because as a tertiary institution, others are also of the view that it's a professional institution and that you should dress professionally. You wouldn't just move into the institution dressed shabbily and be expecting to enter the classroom and lecturers or the lecturers will attend to you.
Philip, you know, UPSA, since time immemorial, even from the time they were called IPS, which was the Institute of Professional Studies, when you see them outside, nobody tells you that these are students of IPSA, then now UPSA, because they are different.
It's hard to tag professional institute.
Yes, their dressing is different. You see them and then you see that this is a student of UPSA because their demeanor, how they carry themselves and all of that. But now times have changed. So I don't know if it is the new students who are trying to filtrate the system or what. But UPSA brought out a memorandum, and this was on the 30th of June. It says, dress code of students for lectures. Management is concerned about the indecent dressing of students on campus, especially during lectures. Students are reminded that The university policy has not changed, and the dress code policy will be strictly adhered to. You are therefore reminded to keep abreast with the provisions on the dress code as stated in the Undergraduate Students Handbook 2018 on the university's website. With effect from 1st July 2025, a task force will be positioned at strategic locations on campus to enforce the dress code and bring sanity to campus. Note that you will not be allowed into the lecture halls with unkept hair, shorts, bathroom slippers, tracksuits, anklets, nose rings, etc., to mention a few. We uphold our mantra, scholarship with professionalism, and this was signed by the Office of the Dean of Students. So this is clearly something that you see the institution has put up with the students a lot. But then again, a task force was brought up to check the students' dressing to make sure that whatever be the case, they've seen the memo, but, you know, students are going to be students anyway. They'll still flout the rules and all of that. But where I find a bit disturbing is how the task force or the gentleman in the video handled the whole situation. I thought he could have handled it better. Or better still, there should be some females employed into the task force as well to handle the female students while the male attended to the male students, because it is so wrong to be dragging a student like the way it is seen in the video for improper dressing. No matter what the offense is, you're a task force. You're supposed to instill some sort of discipline or to check that the students are doing just as the memo is saying. So, I mean, that approach was wrong, but the students should also do well to adhere, because if you look in the video, you see that almost all of them, or most of them, were wearing unprescribed clothes or attires. So, well, that's what we have on.
The public will have its own opinion on this, and because when you go on the timeline in the X, a lot of comments, some saying that UPSA is bringing rules that looks like they are in senior high school. Others also saying that UPSA is looking like an institution that really people are really enforcing the rules and regulations. But I think that if you're a student and you are going to school, maybe you should ask yourself that the way I'm dressed, is it befitting? Because in the near future, I'm looking at being a professional. So you are reading, say, accounting, marketing, maybe human resource, or you are doing any of these courses that you are looking at working in a professional institution after, you want to start learning how to dress as such, so that when the time comes for you to be gainfully employed, you wouldn't find yourself trying to get yourself into that space where you would have to dress officially to school. But then again, let's see what the school is going to do in the days to come, and how the students will comply to whatever
you know, Adam Agbana made a post on X or on social media yesterday. He says, I understand the importance of instilling discipline and upholding codes of conduct in our educational institutions. However, banning nose rings, anklets, and similar forms of personal expression at the tertiary level is an overreach. UPSA must consider the scope of this directive. We can certainly maintain a minimal and generally accepted standard of dressing, but prohibiting items like nose rings is excessive. If we do not nip such directives in the bud, an institution may wake up tomorrow and declare that students with tattoos or anything similar are not welcome. As a former student leader, I would not have accepted such a measure. As a member of parliament and a member of the Parliamentary Select Committee on Education, I do not accept it now. And he says in capital letters, my personal views though.
So that is the personal views of MP Adam Agbana. He is also, he has waded into the conversation. Let's see how that unfolds in the coming days. But another one that is also making waves is the Ablekuma North elections, where the Electoral Commission has stated that July 11, there will be rerun in 19 polling stations. Well, the NPP has stated that the rerun is not going to help. The NDC too says that they are ready for the rerun. The NPP, we understand that will be holding a press conference later today, so we'll be following it keenly as to whatever the decision will be. But for me, I think that that particular constituency is really lagging behind. It's been long overdue. They need a representation in Parliament. They need to get somebody to voice their concerns.
Yeah.
So whether NPP, whether NDC, we should find a way to address these concerns so that if it's going to be Irabna or being in Parliament, or it's going to be Nana Owusu-Efie in Parliament, whoever it is, it's been long overdue. From recollation to having conversation, whether we are going to have a rerun, whether not, whatever it is, something should be done. There's also having sort of conversation on social media as to whatever the concerns are from the people on the grounds. Jifa, a very last one.
Yes. Didier is in the news.
Yes.
He's in the news about his conviction. He was convicted on several accounts. Now, people are saying that the jury didn't do right because he was cleared of more serious charges and 2 counts of sex trafficking, as well as he was giving, which was supposed to be a maximum of 15 years of sentence each. But he's been cleared of those ones. And then, meanwhile, people are still calling for his head that, look, we need to do more. So those are the counts you're seeing on your screens. Count 1, which the court says he's not guilty for, is racketeering conspiracy. Count 2.
So that was racketeering
conspiracy. Count 2, sex trafficking by force, fraud or coercion. Count 3, transporting to engage in prostitution. Count 4, sex trafficking by force, fraud or coercion, which he's also not guilty for. And the 5th count, transporting to engage in prostitution. So the only counts he's guilty for are counts 3 and 5.
Yeah. Anyway, so that is what we have for you by way of what is trending, so that you'll be abreast with what is happening in the world and also in Ghana. But for now, though, we are turning it over to an artist, McKay, who will be playing that. But before that, let's bring you the video of the day. No, I nearly missed that. It's video of the day.
Right, so that's your video of the day, right? Philip, you have kids. What if you're asleep and then you wake up and you see your son or your daughter doing this to you? What would be your first reaction?
Well, I'll be shocked. And the next question I ask myself, maybe it's my fault, because if I hadn't placed this thing at a place where he or she would get access to, that wouldn't happen. But that takes me to the grounds that I'll have to now go and shave my hair entirely and ensure that nothing happens. But what if this is a good sign that the child wants to be a professional barber? You know, we have baba and we have baba. A professional barber. So maybe you would want to nurture the talents of the child and see how that is going to go. But I'm sure maybe the dad has been doing it.
So children learn by observation as well. So over the period, he wants to practice with daddies.
Yeah. Anyway, so this is just to put a smile on your face so that we start the show fully. But let's have McKay serenading us for a while before we get into the show fully. Enjoy.
Traveling these wide roads for so long, my heart's been far from you. was gone. Oh, I wanna come near and give you every part of me, but there's blood on my hands and my lips are unclean. In my darkness I remember Mama's words, be okay to me. Surrender to the good Lord and then wipe your slate clean. Take me to your river, I wanna go. I go on, take me to your river, I wanna know. Dip me in your smooth waters, yes, I go in. As a man with many crimes, come up for air. As my sins flow down the Jordan, oh, I wanna come near and give you every part of me, but there's blood on my hands and my lips are unclean. Take me to your river, I wanna go. I go on, take me to your river, I wanna know. I wanna go, wanna go, wanna go, wanna go. I wanna know, wanna know, wanna know. I wanna go, wanna go, wanna go, wanna go. I wanna know, wanna know, wanna know. I wanna go, wanna go, wanna go, wanna go. I wanna know, wanna know, wanna know. I wanna go, wanna go, wanna go, wanna go. I wanna know, wanna know, wanna know. I go on, take me to your river, I wanna go. I go on, take me to your river, I wanna go. I got 90 days to go till I'm a free man, but I tend to lose my mind during my free time. I'm gonna pick in my box and go into a minivan. He said, this is the time of your life, you better have some fun. Many good things have been enough for me. I know the feel I must say out of my body. I met a girl, she said she wanted to tell me stories. I said I'm recently single, I am yours. She said, do you want it to shy you? Say you're enough for me, my darling. This is not too much for me, my darling. And you gon' make me happy. And when the money comes, so when the money comes, the money comes. So when the money comes, I'm gonna do show, gonna do show, gonna do show, gonna take you anywhere you ever want to go. Gonna do show, gonna do show, gonna do show, gonna do show. In anywhere that I come to play my music back to me. Said I really, really like if you play me something new. Take me around the city, take a walk and your boyfriend can come too. Take me to a mini show. I'm tryna get out of my head and go. We don't need me no more, no, they hear me. If every time I see me money. No best, and they hear me. If me chef you. Do you want it to shy you? Say you're enough for me, my darling. This is not too much for me, my darling. You can make me happy, and when the money comes, the money comes, I'm gonna do you show. Can I do you show? Can I do you show? Can I take you anywhere you ever want to go? Can I do you show? 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 Show me me chef you. Show me me chef. Show me me chef you. Show me me chef. Show me me chef you. Show me me chef. Back in my back single. This pursuit of happiness. For me and all my niggas. It's like a hijala for me and all my niggas. It's like a hijala for me and all my niggas. It's like a hijala for me and all my niggas. Yeah. 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 This world's a big place. I want to fly to so many cities. So this is my proposal to you. If you want to join me, you be stay at home person. Always indoors watching movies. In comfort, in bed. You know the boring give you. You know one step out, two. We could take flight, go to Accra or Zanzibar. Bora Bora, some too many things are. Pack your stuff, it's not one neck far. Bora Bora, some too many things are. Accra or Zanzibar. Bora Bora, some too many things are. And pack your stuff, it's not one neck far. Bora Bora, some too many things are. All year round, you grind so hard. Always worn out from a long day. Headache, back pain. It no be stressful, give you. You know until plus me, boo. I no talk said about or a club or a restaurant. We could take flight, go to Accra or Zanzibar. Bora Bora, some too many Ibiza. Pack your stuff, no one net far. Bora Bora, some too many Ibiza. Accra or Zanzibar. Bora Bora, some too many Ibiza. Pack your stuff, no one net far. Bora Bora, some too many Ibiza. Tell me why they want you for house when the whole universe want you explore. Make you no worry about the mullah. I got you now and forever. So tell your mom and dad they take flight plus me. That they won't forget all the worries of life. That they won't take flight go to Accra or Zanzibar. Bora Bora, Santorini, Ibiza. And pack your stuff, it's not one net far. Bora Bora, Santorini, Ibiza. Accra or Zanzibar. Bora Bora, Santorini, Ibiza. And pack your stuff, it's not one net far. Bora Bora, Santorini, Ibiza. Accra, Zanzibar. Bora Bora, Santorini, Ibiza. Pack your stuff, it's not one net far. Bora Bora, Santorini, Ibiza. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Please join us. Mackay, join us. Let's have a conversation. Good music right there.
Yeah.
Philip, what do you think about Mackay's performance?
I think when she started, for once, I was saying that I think she had this Nigerian start, this Asha start in there. But I want to ask her if but I just heard her sing in Ghana.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, are you a Ghanaian or you're a Nigerian or where? Let me ask you that question first.
Okay, so I'm a Ghanaian, fully Ghanaian. My dad is, my dad is an Ewe.
Let's have a conversation.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, so my dad is an Ewe, my mom is a Ghana. So,
oh, really?
Oh, interesting combination. I see.
And I'm a Ghana, she's an Ewe.
Yes.
Oh, perfect.
So,
yeah, perfect blend. Yeah.
Wow, but for how long have you been doing this?
Okay, so I've been singing for pretty much like since forever, but not professionally. Professionally, say I started this year, early this year.
Why did it take you so long to
Yeah.
start doing
I was
it
gonna
professionally?
ask the
Because I
same
think
thing.
you already have it.
Yeah.
I think a lot of things came to distract me because I did music in SHS.
Okay.
Yeah, that was more of classical music, and I did business in university, but I think the music was on pause for a while, and I think after university, I decided to put in my all for it. So I think early this year, after my national service, I was like, I don't want to do anything else apart from the music, so let me just commit to it. So I
What
started
made
that.
you take up that decision or make up your mind that, no, this is what I want to do? Or even before you answer that, at what point did you realize that after national service, I don't want to be in corporate, I want to do music?
Okay, so I'll say in January somewhere, I wasn't feeling too well, like physically, mentally. So I think during that time, I was like, if I'm able to recover to 100%, there's nothing else I would want to do. I don't want to waste my life doing corporate work that's not really like my passion. So I think during that time, I said, when I get well, I'm just going to like go for it, like 100%. And I was thinking like during that time, I was like, I really regret not doing it because now I'm really down, and I feel like if there's one thing that I would do, that would be what I would do.
But how come
So,
you, with an instrument you play, the guitar, you learnt it?
Yes, I did. My cousin started teaching me a bit a couple of years ago, but I picked up the rest from YouTube and
Oh, wow.
friends.
You
Yeah.
you learned playing guitar from YouTube?
Yes.
Or let me say you perfected your craft
Yeah.
of playing guitar from it. That's interesting.
Yes, from YouTube.
How hard or how easy was that?
So I can go and learn something.
Exactly.
It wasn't hard at all. To be
Really?
honest. Like maybe the beginning, because your fingers, I don't know if you can see, but your fingers would
Yeah.
have, it doesn't hurt, but it thickens, so your skin will be
wow.
peeling off a lot until
Wow.
the harder layer comes. So I'd say maybe just the first few months, but after, when it picks up, and yeah.
Now let's get back into your music career.
Yeah.
A year so far of doing it. How do
Yeah.
you feel? Do you feel that it's going to be a good journey?
Yeah.
What's the future looking like for you? And how many songs do you have also?
Okay, so the first question, how do I feel? I feel really good. Like, I don't think I've ever felt this good in my entire life. I think prior to this, I've always just been going with the flow, just doing whatever is standard to do or kind of acceptable. So now that I'm embracing what I feel like I was meant to do, I feel every day I wake up and I feel really blessed. And ever since I started, I think the journey has been really good. I've met a lot of people who have helped me so much, like without even me having to, because the one thing I was worried about was finance, because
Yeah.
I don't really have a lot of funding right now. So people are willing to help, like producers and just like photographers are just willing to do
We are
work
getting
for
a lot
me.
of producers.
Yeah, I've
Okay.
Are you on any record label?
I need to invest.
So with record labels, I have been like hit up by one record label.
Oh, beautiful.
It took me a while to decide, but I decided to be an independent artist because I think there's some drama with record labels, and I don't think that this is the right time for me to join a label.
Well, we understand that maybe record labels will push you.
Yes.
You get to where you want to get to.
Yeah.
Then eventually, if you decide you want
You
to be
can
on
go
your
solo,
own,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
why will you want to do this on your own when you
Because
need
it's
someone
tough.
to
You
push
need
you?
the
Yeah.
funding.
Yeah.
You need the push.
Yeah. See, the thing is that I did mention that I've met a lot of people, so those people are
Okay.
willing to sort of like invest their time and so it's like I don't really feel like there's a need for record label because I have a producer that I can work with, and that's the thing that the record labels do. They will link you up with producers and shows. And recently I did a show at Zen Gardens on Monday.
Okay.
It happens every Monday. I don't know if you know music. Me Music, he's
Yeah.
the organizer. So every Monday he has different artists coming up, and I had a full 2-hour set with the guitar, so just acoustics.
Oh, wow.
So it's like I just don't think that this is the right
The
time because I'm
time,
already
yeah.
sorted out.
Yeah, you've
Yeah,
got to
yeah.
figure it out.
Yeah.
So how many songs do you have after 1 year of doing music?
Okay.
And what should we be expecting from you as a brand and of course as an artist by the end of the year? Let me just put it for now.
Okay, so I don't have anything out yet because I'm still working with the producers. I'm still getting the arrangements
So
right.
you do cover?
Yes, so the two songs I did at first with the guitar, those are cover songs.
Oh.
But then the one I did with the stage, that's my original track.
Oh.
But it's not released yet. It's just that we are working on, we are changing some few things about it. But hopefully by this month, I should be able to get it out.
Do you write?
Yeah, I do. Like I write everything. Like everything I've done so far has been purely written. there are a lot of guitar songs that I have written, but I've just not performed yet. So hopefully by next month, I should be able to release them. Yeah.
What's your style? You want to do hip hop? You want to do high life? You want to do
Afro music?
Yeah. What's the style?
Well, I've been asked this question a couple of times, and I never really have like the actual like, oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I think it depends on what I want to, the message I want to give out. You know, so with the one I just did, it's more geared towards like Afrobeats. I think I want to have a very energized performance. So whenever I'm doing something on stage, you get to feel the energy, right? So with that, I'll give it like Afrobeats, and there are some things that I do with pop music. You know, that's when it comes to the guitar, but I didn't do any of my personal tracks. But so I'll say for now, I'll say more of Afrobeats and pop. You know, I did speak to a friend, and he told me that I can go with alternative pop for now, alternative pop artist.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Anyway, beautiful.
Yeah. Anyway, before we let you go, share with us your social media handles if people want to reach out to you to support your craft as well as for performances and all of that. How can people reach out to you?
Okay, so my social media is Make_official Instagram and YouTube Make_official. So the Make is 2 Y's.
So just spell it out.
So MAKAYY_official. Okay. So 2 Y's because my name is Makafui actually, but I cut it to Mak. Everybody calls me Maki, so I just say Maki. And then with the additional Y's because a lot of people are known as Maki if you check on Google. So because of copyright and things like that, I decided to add one more. Yeah.
That's beautiful. Maki, we are wishing you the very best in your music industry, and then we hope that when you blow and you make it big, you would come back here for us to have a conversation.
Definitely,
of course, we are wishing you well.
Definitely.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you too. Thank you.
Of course, we have a lot of talent in this country.
Yes,
We've seen a
we
lot
need
of
to
them
support.
coming here.
Yeah.
So I think it's just great that you support Makay and get her to reach where she wants to get to in this space. We've seen a lot like her, Sinaso, Adina, and all, Ifya and all that. You can do it. And when you started, I was like, hey. The lady has
she's good. Her vocals were good. I enjoyed her so much.
Anyway, thank you, and wish you all the best. Okay?
Yes, thank you.
Yesterday we spoke about the sports in
infrastructure in Ghana.
Yes, and I was shocked that at least by the time we finished, we really got attention of the authority.
Yeah,
that's the National Sports Authority. We are grateful that at least they had a conversation with us and they really want to change the narrative. But today, we are moving into a different realm.
Yes.
Mind you, on this particular show, we can take you anywhere and anytime, any
where
day.
the spirit leads us.
That's where we go. Yes. So today we are talking about noise pollution. And it's not in the Greater Accra region or any of the, say, 15 regions, except for the fact that we are moving to the Ashanti region where we are focusing today. We understand that the people there are crying because of noise pollution. Let's bring you this report. After, we'll have a conversation on that.
Is a pressing issue worldwide, and Ghana is no exception. In urban areas, noise is increasingly seen as an environmental hazard linked to social, economic, and religious activities. The World Health Organization identifies excessive noise as a major contributor to hearing loss in both children and adults. In the Ashanti region, the EPA receives an average of 5 noise-related complaints each day, with over 75% linked to churches. Concerned by this trend, the EPA has stepped up efforts to engage church leaders as part of a wider advocacy and public education campaign.
We have been receiving complaints in our office, and about 70% of these complaints, you realize that we're emanating from church services and church activities. So the question we want to ask, do we go ahead and do prosecution, or we go ahead to close down those facilities? The answer is no. Probably they don't really know what they are doing. As Jesus said it on the cross, Father, forgive them for they know not what they are doing. So we don't want to go ahead and do prosecution, but we decided to bring them here and then tell them what they are doing and its impact on the people living around the neighbors.
During recent meetings, EPA officials outlined the agency's mandates and shared findings from a recent survey in the Volta region, highlighting noise pollution patterns caused by religious activities. The Ashanti Regional Director of the EPA emphasized that churches which flout the rules will face strict sanctions.
They are religious leaders, which means that God expects them to do the right thing. So we don't expect that after this training, they are also going to go contrary to the law. But should they do that, I think the legal officer spoke on that we will invoke the relevant sanctions in the our Environmental Protection Authority Act, where they will be prosecuted and they will be tried by a court of competent jurisdiction, and then the relevant sanctions pronounced. We are also going to replicate what was done in the Volta region. We also do it here, where some churches will be selected at random, and then the noise levels also measured. The information that will be gathered will also be used to raise awareness.
Some religious leaders have pledged to adhere to the agency's guidelines.
The implementation mostly will depend on education. So as policy makers of our churches, we will then channel these things to the higher authorities, and at our own levels, we will also educate people on what we have learned today.
I think it has been so useful for us, and I'm appealing to all churches that we should try and minimize noise if it is possible, and maybe in future we will want to advise that the environmental protection will rather bring us some of their gadgets so that we can also measure the level of noise that we make.
As the national body responsible for regulating and protecting the environment, the EPA says it remains committed to ongoing sensitization efforts to address noise pollution and other environmental challenges.
So that was a report filed. So that was a report filed by Ashanti Regional Correspondent Hafiz Tijani on the noise pollution being caused by churches in the Ashanti region, and also in the Volta region.
Yeah.
I was going to add that. But Philip, it's I don't know how to put
It's
it.
nationwide.
Well, yeah, it's interesting to see that churches
Yeah.
are the causes of these noise pollutions. And this is not, as you rightly said, it's not just a region thing. I
Yeah.
think it cuts across the whole country. Because these days, you see churches holding all-night services, even regular Sunday services, midweek services, and you are back from work very tired, worn out. All that you want to do is to get into bed and have some rest. And oh my, you cannot even blink an eye because of the level of noise. I don't know how we think that it's the noise that gets to Christ.
No, but
I don't know.
What we wouldn't really want to enter into the realms of how people are having a conversation with their God. But
No, but
at
in
least-
your conversation with
Yeah.
your God, you should know that it's also affecting my health.
yes, it is.
Because there are lots of health connotations to these things.
Yeah, the noise pollution.
Yes.
It is. And what I will say is that at least if these church leaders are educated, but I can also say that it's not only the churches, because you go to some parties and some places, you see them bashing funerals and all that.
Ceremonies and
when there was
whatnots.
a ban on drumming and noise making in parts of Accra, it was very good. You could really
quiet.
go through a particular area.
So quiet.
But let's speak to Hafiz Tijani. He is a Middle Belt Bureau Chief, and he filed this report from the Ashanti region. I want to have a conversation with him. Hafiz, good morning.
Good morning, Philip.
I trust you are doing well.
I'm well. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, per the report we saw, the one you filed, it looks like EPA just had a conversation with the churches. Why? Didn't they engage other bodies like people who are running pubs, people who are running or the assemblies who are also supposed to
Well, so
get
the
weighed into it? Yes. Go ahead.
So the EPA says this meeting or this engagement was informed by the numerous complaints they were getting from some neighborhoods within the Ashanti region. So some of the inhabitants of these communities have been coming in to give complaints to them about the activities of some of the churches within their vicinity. So the EPA capitalized on this to invite the churches, and the complaints, the EPA says, so in a day they receive about 5 complaints, and out of that you have 75% of such complaints being attributed to the noise levels of some of these churches. So that was why the EPA went ahead to invite the leadership of these religious groups to at least talk to them and let them know what they were supposed to do when they are having their activities. But the PAPs and the other entities you mentioned, the EPA said they were going to be getting to these people because they have been trying to collaborate with the assemblies. You know, most of the assemblies, we have the noise department who are also supposed to enforce some of these laws. And the EPA as a body says it is taking this step to sensitize the people about the dangers, about the effects of noise pollution before they would even extend their frontiers to some of these entities you mentioned. But the concern, because they received the consent from the residents on the churches, that was why they have started with the churches. So in the future, they can expand and also speak to owners of pubs and people who are engaged in activities that contribute to noise pollution.
But with this, if you could help us understand in the Ashanti region, which places normally experience this when it comes to noise pollution?
Well, so this was coming from areas within districts. So you don't have a specific area. So you have a district where they are recording some of these cases. So the Asqua Municipal was part, the Kwabri East Municipal was part, the Achuma Kwahoma areas were also part, and even the Kumasi Metropolis was also part. So they are getting the concerns from some of these communities which fall under these districts I've mentioned. And it's not just one particular area that they are getting the concern. They are getting the concern from across the communities, but they have segmented them into districts so they are able to make targets. So some time ago, the EPA had to go in to close down a church within the Kwabri East Municipal or municipality based on some of these concerns or these complaints from the residents. They went in and they looked at the kind of complaints people have raised regarding the activity of that particular church, and they had to go in to speak to the leadership of that church, but things did not work out. They kept receiving that complaint, and they had to go in and close down the church. But later, the leadership of the church also had an engagement with the EPA officials, and they gave them some of the measures, or they gave them a directive on how to operate within the area so they don't disturb the peace of the people there. So they had to adhere to some of these things, and they opened up the church for them to continue with their activity. So the EPA says they are drawing lessons from some of these engagement they've done in the past so they can go ahead. But there was this school of thought also that came up during the engagement that, so why don't you target some of the wayside preachers, people who preach along the road and the markets. But the EPA said because some of them are not an institution, it's just an individual thing. But they were going to even extend their invitation and their engagement to them to also help them reduce the noise levels, though they already operate in a very noisy environment like the markets, like the streets, but they are going to get them to reduce their noise levels so they can also operate in a serene manner. But because the churches are operating in an enclosed area, the EPA says it is able to deploy its devices like the noise device that can use to know the noise levels people are making, so they can track and also give them the necessary advice.
Hafiz, is that to say that there are a number of churches within residential areas in the Ashanti region, or the numbers are increasing when it comes to the establishment of churches in the Ashanti region? Is that it?
Yes, so it's in twofold, Philip. So it's either the buildings that are springing up are coming to meet the churches there, or the churches are coming to meet the buildings there. So you find areas, especially the new sites, you find areas where you have churches that have been established and they have operated for a very long time before even getting the area to be fully developed into a residential area. And you have other areas where the residential facilities are there already, but the churches are now going there to set up. So it is twofold. So you have some areas, with some of the areas like the Achuma Kwauma areas, most of the churches go there to build already before getting people to even come and settle and the place developing into a residential area. And you have other areas too where the church is now setting up, or you have a church that operated in the area, but it is expanding. Then they secure a land within that area to expand and make it big and continue with their operations. So it's not like churches are maybe dominating in these areas, but this is the situation.
Okay. Have you here in the Greater Accra region, there is a period in the year where there is a ban on noise and on drumming and noise making here in the Greater Accra region, and it's cast across. Is there anything like that in the Ashanti region?
Well, there is, but that is so peculiar to maybe if there's a big funeral of maybe a paramount chief or maybe a very prominent traditional person who dies. So in the case of the Mampon traditional area, because the paramount chief of the Mampon traditional area is passed on, so in that area, even people within the area know the culture, even if there's no any directive from the traditional community that they should go ahead or they should stop the noise and also drumming and dancing. It's just like something like automatic that they know that a chief of this caliber has died. So we have to stop all outdoor activities, all drumming and noise making. But as part of the traditional setting within the Ashanti region, usually when a chief, a paramount chief, or a very prominent chief dies, they announce and let people know what they are supposed to do and what not to do. So it's not like a period, a specific period, but in times of like this, you have people adhering to some of this. So within the Ashanti region, currently, we have the Queen Mother of the Asokore Mampong traditional area. She has passed on. She has joined the ancestors. The paramount chief for that area or the chief for that area has also joined their ancestors. So in that area, you don't find people doing outdoor activities or maybe engaging in drumming and noise making. They know that this is the time that the traditional authority wants to use to do the funeral.
Okay, so if there is no death, that means there is noise from the start of the year to the end of the year. When EPA engaged these church leaders, what were their response? Were they ready to go according to what the Environmental Protection Authority has said?
Well, so most of them were so happy about the engagement because they said that they never knew that some of the activities they do are even against the laws. So the EPA had to spell out their mandates to them to tell them about the punitive or the sanctions that they can at least even that can be meted out to churches who flout some of these laws. The EPA Act that talks about the permits that the churches have to even get from the EPA. Apart from getting the permit from the local assembly to establish the church, they should go to EPA and also get a permit. So the noise and everything is in that permit, and the EPA would spell out what they need to do before establishing the church. So most of the church leaders said they didn't know about all this. They just thought that going to the assembly to get the permit to build a church was the final thing they could do. But they didn't know that they could go to the EPA to get permits, and the EPA will even explain to them how they are supposed to operate so they don't disturb the environment. And they were so happy. They said that the EPA should also deploy their noise devices to their churches so they can monitor the noise levels indoors and even monitor if the noise levels are not affecting the people within the area, so they can lower their noise when they are having such activities. And they were so happy about the engagement.
All right, Hafiz, don't go. We have Dr. Kelvin Owusu, who is a wellness consultant at Violet Medical Center, joining us on the line to give us professional insights to this conversation. Doc, good morning.
Good morning, Jifa. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. How about you?
I'm very well, too.
Now, let's talk about let's have this conversation from a professional's point of view. What does exposure or long exposure to high noise levels do to us as a people?
You know, this is it's a much needed conversation because, to be honest, Accra is too noisy. In fact, our cities are too noisy. You walk around with a sound meter and you realize that the level of noise is very, very high. We don't realize that it actually has an effect on our health.
Yeah.
You know, especially, I mean, all noise pollution is not good, right? But especially in the night, you know, it can directly actually affect our blood pressure. And in fact, it could be one of the reasons why we are dealing with an epidemic of hypertension. There's so many people are walking around with blood pressures through the roof, and noise is a major contributor. And quite apart from that, I mean, the immediate effect of noise pollution is hearing loss or hearing hearing disorders. You know, so you sit in a place. I mean, and everybody has experienced it before. You attend a program and then you are sitting by the speakers. The speakers are making a lot of noise behind you. You know, you step away from the speaker and you realize that you can't hear for some time. Now imagine if you're exposed to this kind of noise consistently. It's going to make the hearing loss permanent, you know. And a lot of people, factory workers, people working in the market, you know, have been exposed to too much noise, and it's affecting their hearing. You know, it also affects our sleep. And in fact, the effect of noise on sleep contributes to the blood pressure issue I mentioned earlier, you know. And it can even affect cognition, you know. So children exposed to high levels of noise may develop cognitive impairment, you know, which means that it can affect their ability to learn and understand. So sometimes the children go to school and we are beating them for not doing well in school. It's probably because they've been exposed to too much noise, you know. So, I mean, I can go on and on and on about noise. It's something that we really need to get a handle on because there's too much noise all around us.
Now, Doc, from where you sit, what are some of the common complaints that come, even though you've mentioned hypertension and all of that, what are some of the common ones that come as a result of long exposure to noise?
So, I mean, as I mentioned, the most common complaint that we get following noise exposure is actually hearing impairment or hearing disorders. You know, so people come in with hearing loss, and the hearing loss may be temporary or may be permanent, depending on the duration. First of all, it depends on how much noise they're exposed to and how